This magician is simply not scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101, Entering the second level of the Demon King's tomb. The projection power of the Dark Sun Saint was squeezed out by the power of Dark Japan. It was a very explosive front-page news in the Steam Daily of the Principality of Syrians. In the past, Blank felt that he was knowledgeable and had seen all kinds of scenes. But today's scene directly raised his cognition to a level that he should not have. Wizard. This is a wizard. Blank glanced at Tucker and his heart trembled slightly. Many teams of extraordinary people need wizards as the core. Before, he thought, there is no problem that cannot be solved by the sword in his hand. The team does not need those fragile wizards who run slowly, drag their feet, and always need to be protected. Now it seems that there are too many problems that swords cannot solve. And wizards must be there. Especially those powerful wizards. Even if there is no wizard as powerful as Tucker. It is also great to have a wizard of the level of the arcane wizard Philiblo, who died under his sword before. Fortunately, this time there is a major breakthrough, the sword's breath. With this in mind, Blank's mood improved. He narrowly escaped death and made a breakthrough. After realizing the profound meaning of the rune sword, he can definitely go further on the path of the extraordinary swordsman. This major breakthrough in the sword's breath will definitely make him a top genius in the family. After all, he is only level 19. Don't be too happy, although the son of Dark Sun was defiled by me, and repelled by me. But, Dark Sun will still fall. Tucker's words made Blank instantly calm down. Blank raised his head, and the slowly falling terrifying shadow outline almost occupied 1/3 of his vision, and it continued to expand. Damn, the outline of Dark Sun is coming towards us. If we can't dodge, we may not even be able to leave our bodies behind. Blank's voice was a little hoarse. Yes. Looking at the outline of Dark Sun, Tucker nodded slightly. When Tucker relied on the Silver Holy Wall to fight against Dark Sun and pollute the Son of God, on the one hand, he was stalling for time and letting his team members leave. After all, the bearskins, bear blood, and materials obtained on the road in those guys' hands were all part of Tucker's. In addition, Tucker was stalling for time. Delaying Dark Sun's growth. Delaying Dark Sun's growth to the point where he could collapse and shatter this world. Yes. Tucker also wanted to destroy this Demon King's tomb. To be more precise, he wanted to destroy the first floor of the Demon King's tomb. Before Tucker got the ability of the Demon King's magical power, Phase Walker, Tucker's plan was still very simple. That was to enter the entrance of the Demon King's tomb. Touch the second floor of the Demon King's tomb. Then, relying on the Silver Holy Wall, he faced off against the opponent and polluted the opponent to a certain extent, and then escaped. After he got the powerful Demon King's magical power, Phase Walker, at that moment, the core problem changed. That is, Tucker did not need to escape. Instead, it was the opponent who needed to escape. Even if this world is broken, it will still be filled with a large number of layer fragments. Tucker used the extraordinary magical power of Phase Walker, and it was still very easy to leave here. Hold the lantern. Following Tucker's instructions, Blank quickly twisted the lantern in his hand. Tucker's palm was on Blank's shoulder. Let's go. Tucker took a light step. The two of them directly left the protection of the Silver Holy Wall. They came to a strange entrance that was like a dark vortex. As they left the protection of the Silver Holy Wall, under the burning of the Dark Sun, Blank's skin sizzled. Fortunately, there was the holy light protection of Tucker's light-shaping spear, orb, otherwise it would not be the skin burning but the soul burning. Tucker put one hand on the black vortex door. Sure enough, I can't get in. Tucker raised his eyebrows, not surprised. In theory, the second layer of the Demon King's tomb should be a deeper layer. There is no reason for this group of people to build an altar at this entrance. Entering the second level of the Demon King's tomb, building an altar directly on the Demon King's coffin board, and absorbing the Demon King sequence, wouldn't it be great? It certainly is. But the problem is that they can't get in. In the previous layers, except when the layers are wriggling, the docking positions will be staggered, and when they stabilize, there will be a passage door. But at this time, the second level of the Demon King's tomb in front of us, there is no passage at all. The second level is an independent layer. Although it is only a small distance, if you don't have a powerful shuttle ability like phase walking, You can't get in at all. This damn Demon King, he still cheated people in the end. I have to say, it's a good job. That Dark Sun Sink was trapped here. Tucker laughed. Tucker, hurry up, I can't bear it anymore. Blank on the side urged in a low voice. The distance of Dark Sun was getting closer and closer, and Blank was already smoking and about to catch fire. I'm accumulating strength, it's almost done. As soon as the voice fell, the magical energy had been accumulated, and the two completed another phase travel. As they landed and stood firmly, without much hesitation, Blank sat cross-legged and drank the potion, took out the healing scroll, and showed his proficiency. Tucker glanced at him. This guy has prepared a lot of recovery things, and the main thing is recovery, right? Well, fortunately, I have prepared a lot too. As Tucker completed the phase travel this time, he directly avoided the situation where the Dark Sun hit his head directly. However, it is certain that he will be affected to a certain extent. Fortunately, this is the second level of the Demon King's tomb, an independent and stable layer domain. Even if it is affected, it will not be dismembered and shattered like those wriggling layers. This beggar version of the Demon King's magical power is really not reliable when it comes with someone. But Tucker took a deep breath and looked around. Now we have entered the second level of the Demon King's tomb, and the magical power can be upgraded. Open the system. Demon King, Crypt Seal, Energy Experience. 5.8 Experience Hour. Special Resources, Talent Fragments. 7.2 Fragments Day. Below the previously anchored stable development area, the location search function has lifted the previous gray state, and you can search for new areas. Search. After a moment, a new development area emerged. Demon King, Deep Crypt Seal, Energy Experience. 4.2 Experience Hour. Special Resources, Talent Fragments. 6.4 Fragments Day. Demon King Magical Power Fragments. 2.6 Fragments Day. In the new development anchor area, the output of energy experience and talent fragments has decreased. There is one more Demon King Magical Power Fragment, and the output of Demon King Magical Power Fragments is not low. But in general, this is definitely a blood profit. With Tucker's operation, the system's pleasant prompt should sound. Ling. Anchoring the development location, Demon King, Deep Crypt Seal. Do you want to conduct a 53-day rapid sweep? After the rapid sweep, the anchor area cannot be changed within 53 days. Yes. The development log quickly recorded the entire rapid sweep process. On the first day, I gained 100.8 source energy experience, 6.4 talent fragments, and 2.6 Demon King magic fragments. On the second day, I gained 100.8 source energy experience, 6.4 talent fragments, and 2.6 Demon King magic fragments. On the 53rd day, I gained 100.8 source energy experience, 6.4 talent fragments, and 2.6 Demon King magic fragments. Only 53 days of rapid sweep, which is shorter than the first layer. This anchor sweep time should only be related to the strength of the source energy and the size of the area. It has nothing to do with the special resources it has. Tucker summarized the characteristics of the anchor area development of the robust development system. Boom. As Tucker completed the rapid sweep, Dark Sun fell in the outer layer. The world shook violently. As the Dark Sun collided with a layer domain, Tucker could even feel that the layer domain was like the waves in a hurricane, producing violent tidal fluctuations. In this case, the shadow's travel would be greatly affected, and it would even be difficult to travel. However, the phase walker was walking on flat ground. Feeling the shaking of the world, Tucker opened his attribute panel. It's time to add points again. Chapter 102, Harvest a Low Health Leader. Talent Fragments. 1,100 Demon King Magical Power Fragments. 137. Tucker had accumulated talent fragments before, plus this quick sweep. Talent fragments reached 1,100. Once the Steam talent is obtained, it will be another SSS level Steam Extraordinary Talent. Now, Tucker is looking forward to a Steam talent. No matter what kind of talent it is. Under the system's addition, quantitative changes will soon produce qualitative changes. Precision is not a rare extraordinary talent. But when its height reaches 1020%, the most plain aiming feature can also be presented in a very high-end form. Then, Tucker looked at the Demon King Magical Power Fragments 137 pieces, plus the 18 pieces Tucker had obtained before 155 pieces of Demon King magical power fragments. It can already make Tucker surpass his master in the magical power of phase walking. According to the system's explanation, 100 pieces is the standard strength of the Demon King magical power mastered by the Demon King himself. But this strength is obviously not the upper limit of the strength of phase walking. The strength of 200 fragments. Even the strength of 500 fragments is completely feasible. As time goes by, Tucker can slowly accumulate the fragments of the Demon King's magical power. Of course, the prerequisite is that he cannot leave this area too far. The purpose of the steady development system is to allow the owner to develop stably in a certain area. If it exceeds the range, the development effect of the anchored area will be automatically lost. Tucker carefully felt the phase walk, and gradually put 137 fragments of the Demon King's magical power into it. Phase walking, this extraordinary magical power, is listed separately. It has the same independence as extraordinary talents. It's just that extraordinary talents affect all aspects of me. And extraordinary magical powers are the strength of one's own abilities. At the same time, extraordinary magical powers have extremely high perception sensitivity and control capabilities for their own magical power characteristics. Phase is the stacking, arrangement, and flat state of layers, and walking is the essential characteristic of free shuttle. Deep in the characteristics of walking, body movements, and speed, there is no doubt that there is potential. But more importantly is phase. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Many powerful supernatural worlds have stable spiritual layers. Some special worlds do not even have real layers, but have all kinds of incredible supernatural layers. Being able to adapt to more layers is the key to walking in different supernatural worlds. And the ability of phase walking is precisely one of the strongest abilities based on the supernatural layer. As I add points, I can clearly feel that my perception of the layer and the mastery of the phase are improving rapidly. Maybe. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. As the number of points increases, phase walking will also undergo some strange changes. Even if there is no change, add more points to make the intensity of phase walking as high as possible. In the future, when running away, it will be easier and more natural. Well, running away is also for better development. After careful experience, Tucker gradually put 137 pieces of the Demon King's magical power fragments into the supernatural magical power of phase walking. The aftermath of the world shaking gradually dissipated. Blank, who only had some superficial injuries, recovered quickly. It looks so quiet here. I wonder what kind of treasure there is. Blank walked around Tucker with a lantern, and then he looked at Tucker. In the second level of the Demon King's tomb, he really didn't dare to leave Tucker too far. Every scene of the previous danger was shocking. Even with his curiosity, he still suppressed the desire to explore the depths of the darkness. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, gradually examining the darkness around him, and after a moment he spoke. "There's nothing good here." "Huh?" Blank looked at Tucker in surprise. If Tucker couldn't easily get rid of him, he even began to suspect that Tucker wanted to take the treasure on the second level of the Demon King's tomb for himself. Tucker glanced at Blank and spoke lightly. The Demon King of the dungeon suffered a heavy blow and ran here. He was sealed in the depths of this closed space and waited for death here. He has the following choices. 1. He does not use his own treasures and waits for death here. After that, he will leave the treasures to the humans who have a grudge against him after the seal is broken. Choice 2. Use all the treasures that can be used, and destroy as much as possible those that cannot be used, leaving no treasures for humans. He also built this place into maze cage and trap. Anyone who dares to covet the human transcendence of the Demon King sequence will die. You are the Demon King, which one do you choose? Tucker asked lightly. Do you still need to choose this kind of life-threatening question? Blank shook his head. In other words, our hiding in the second level of the Demon King is completely in vain. Blank felt that what Tucker said made sense and felt that there was no danger here. He raised the lantern higher, hoping to see more of the situation. I don't know if you came here in vain, but I am sure it was not in vain. Tucker rubbed his eyebrows. At the same time, he quietly activated the powerful precise vision and the ability of phase. Phase, magical power can also be used to see the situation of other extraordinary layers at the level of visual perception. With precise vision, the effect of consumption is better. Just as Tucker roughly saw, there is really nothing in this second level Demon King tomb. Except for the most core Demon King sequence tree, which is the core of this world. There is nothing else. But Tucker does not intend to contact or touch the core Demon King sequence tree. After all, Tucker is going to anchor the system here for a long time to develop. Once the Demon King sequence tree is touched, the characteristics of the Demon King sequence here will be confused. The development effect of the system anchoring is destroyed. Then Tucker's hard work in polluting the Son of Dark Sun, destroying the Demon King tomb, and ensuring the stability of the core area will be meaningless. I would rather do nothing than make mistakes. Stay. Develop. This is the principle of Tucker entering the core area. However, although Tucker will not touch the second level of the Demon King tomb, but Tucker had no worries about the broken world outside. After walking around Tucker for 5 or 6 times, Blank finally sat down beside Tucker with some frustration. Tucker was unwilling to explore, probably because there was really nothing good. After entering the second floor of the Demon King's tomb, he didn't pick up anything to take back, which was a loss no matter how you looked at it. Have you rested well? At this time, Tucker's question made Blank energetic. I rested a long time ago. Have you found anything? Many layers outside are broken. In the depths of Tucker's eyes, the layers of the Demon King's tomb, like a vortex of stars, were reflected. But most of the layers are still relatively intact. The fall of the Dark Sun disturbed this world and broke some layers. There are many leader-level creatures trapped in those layers. I have seen several injured leaders. Injured leader-level creatures. Blank stood up and felt that the sword in his hand was also burning. He entered the Demon King's tomb for this reason. He had not advanced to the second level of transcendence for a long time. Wasn't it for those leader-level core materials? Tucker's ability to travel through, plus his current strength has increased a lot. The two of them are fully qualified and capable. Clean up this final mess. But we have to speed up. Tucker slightly increased his speed. The people stationed outside must have known that the internal space is broken. Although it's not necessary, immediately remove the steam tower support to open up the doorway, weld the car door shut and let us be trapped inside. But we definitely don't have much time left. So, Tucker looked at Blang. You have to output at full power later. Understood. Blang nodded carefully, holding his sword very tightly. This is a good opportunity to reap the mess, and he may only have one in his life. Tucker put one hand on Blang, and this time, the two of them completed the travel in an instant. Now the phase walk, with 155 fragments, is definitely the best among the best. Leading people through, the distance is long, and it is also very easy. The reason why Tucker didn't want to destroy the core tomb is to allow his phase walking to be continuously improved. In the depths of this broken Demon King tomb layer, the two began to harvest the remaining leaders. Especially Blank's rune sword breathing. The power of the sword is much stronger than Tucker's 2-star spear of shaping light. In the battle of the two people, Blank's contribution is not inferior to Tucker. If he really encounters those top leaders who are too powerful, Tucker will wisely choose to avoid them. A terrifying creature like the mountain giant bear. Even Tucker doesn't want to fight it again. What's more, there is not so much time for Tucker to waste now. Tucker chose those leaders who are relatively less resistant. And Tucker will try to harvest together only when the general direction is convenient. After all, Tucker's main direction is still the direction of leaving the sealed door. Chapter 103 Return to Lamor. The entrance to the Demon King's tomb. At this time, the masters of the 5 forces, Saint Land, Lamor Tower, Ebony Fortress, Black River Valley, and Red Blood Lake City, all gathered here. But the faces of these extraordinary masters were not very good. Judging from the number of people who have come back alive so far, less than half of the people who went in came out alive. In particular, a small number of highly anticipated masters have not come out yet. For example, Tucker and Philbla from Lamor. The two of them are vaguely the first and second seeds of Lamor. Saint Land's genius swordsman Blank, and the extraordinary warrior Gerard, who is close to the A-level extraordinary talent. But this is still good. At least these forces have also gained good Demon King sequence characteristics. Some of the elites and genius extraordinary people of their forces have also returned. In the Black River Valley, the Demon King characteristics have not been collected, and even the people have not returned. The other strong men also have some reasons to comfort themselves. And the extraordinary strong man in the Black River Valley had a gloomy face that was almost oozing water. The world inside has been broken for 2 hours. During this time, no one has come back. It's almost time to close it. At this time, Oswaya, who had been stationed there, spoke lightly. Many powerful people were silent. Although the hope was still slim, they were not willing to give up just like that. How about you do some divination to see if anyone can come back? At this time, the necromancer Aubrey looked at Oswaya and said, "Huh? Don't you always disbelieve in my divination?" Speaking of divination, Oswaya became interested. He immediately took out the divination astrolabe. From the inside to the outside of the astrolabe, there were dense star maps and veins with extraordinary activity. Each divination will present a different star, and Oswaya will use his identity as a divination prophet to interpret the truth from the stars. As Oswaya divination, the star soon emerged. Divination. That is the very profound and obscure mysticism side of the supernatural. At the same time, this subject is also the subject that requires the most talent. If you don't have extraordinary talent in mysticism, no matter how much resources you invest, you won't achieve anything. On the contrary, if you have a high enough talent, even if you don't receive training in this area, you can still show certain abilities such as prediction, foresight, and sign perception. Soon, the projection of the stars on the star disk slowly dissipated. The starlight in Oswaya's eyes also disappeared. No need to wait, no one will come back. Oswaya's voice was ethereal and melodious. It seemed to reveal some truth. The faces of others darkened when they heard it. And Aubrey raised his eyebrows when he heard it. "I feel relieved when you say that. There should be one or two more people coming out. If you blaspheme my astrological divination like this, the goddess of fate will definitely not favor you," Oswaya said in a bad tone. At this moment, a light flashed in the door of the Demon King's seal. Two figures came out one after another. Many strong men looked over immediately. What came into view was Tucker, who was wearing a gray wizard robe and a hood, and whose figure was completely covered by the wizard robe, and Blang, the genius swordsman of Saint Land, who had a cold face and a little bloody smell. The strong men of Saint Land and Lamore smiled at the same time. But the masters of other forces obviously looked unhappy. Tucker glanced and a shadow passed through and came behind the necromancer Aubrey. Blang was also very smart and hid behind several instructors of their Saint Land super school. "Teacher Aubrey," Tucker greeted in a low voice. "Good. Good." The necromancer Aubrey smiled kindly. "I'm glad you can come back." Immediately, the necromancer Aubrey looked at Oswaya. "You see, I still believe in your divination." What responded to him was Oswaya's cold and hostile eyes. "Is there anyone behind?" At this time, a slightly old and hoarse voice sounded. "The two of us were lucky enough to float to the doorway in the space of the layer where we were, so we escaped. As for the others, we too don't know." It was Blang who responded to the question of the Red Blood Lake City strongman. As a Saint Lander extraordinary genius, his words were undoubtedly more convincing. The Red Blood Lake City extraordinary strongman looked at Blang, then looked at Tucker, and shook his head slightly as if he had accepted his fate. The extraordinary people certainly have good strength, but the various incredible dangers they face are also extremely deadly. If you are not careful, even a genius will fall into it. Tucker, who was behind Aubrey, looked around. He found that except for the strong men from several high-tower city-states, the team members who had left the Demon King's tomb before were not here. Just when Tucker wanted to observe further, the voice of the necromancer Aubrey sounded quietly. "Go back to the Undead Tower first, and be careful. A lot of things happened outside during the few days you were in. I will tell you in detail after I go back." "Yes." Tucker nodded. Leaving the barrier area of the Demon King's tomb, Tucker moved forward silently. The final harvesting stage. Tucker and Burank each got 2-liter level materials. Although they were not as good as the top materials such as the mountain giant bear, they were also quite good liter level materials. If they were placed outside, they would be a hot commodity. What made Tucker most satisfied was that Tucker got a soul essence material of the spirit ear leader. This means that Tucker's soul, source energy, and life materials for promotion to the second level are all leader level. Normally, promotion to the second level, the core material is leader level, and it can be fully digested, which is already a very potential performance. But Tucker is obviously not satisfied with a very potential level. Among the 3 materials, the life material of the mountain giant bear is undoubtedly the top. And a strong physique has always been one of Tucker's pursuits. "I may not be good at close combat, but I must be good at close combat. A real wizard must stack the thickest armor and take the hardest beating. Only if you can stand firm, you are qualified to develop steadily." The last leader level material is the dark characteristic material condensed by the leader of the soul-stealing ghost skull. If the soul-stealing ghost skull condenses the soul material, it is obviously better than the soul essence material of the leader of the spirit deer in terms of offensiveness. But in terms of the natural nurturing of the soul essence of the leader of the spirit deer is more effective. Promotion materials, to a certain extent, determine the characteristic accommodation of the extraordinary ecology of the extraordinary wizard. For Tucker, offensive promotion materials are really not needed. The extraordinary ecology of partial defense, nurturing, and growth is more suitable for Tucker. Steam wizards. They are born with no shortage of offensive means. When Tucker passed through the magic door and entered the steam tower, boom! A slight roar spread in Tucker's perception. Although the roar of the Lamore steam tower is still low and powerful, but the turbid hissing has been mixed in the low roar. After not seeing it for a few days, the pollution spread faster and more deadly than Tucker had imagined. Now, the pollution has gradually penetrated into many places of the Lamore steam tower. Tucker raised his hand, and the sound veins of the roaring steam passed through Tucker's palm. The angel steam core that had been initially absorbed was gently resonating with the Lamore steam tower. Chapter 104, Lamore is about to fall. The Tower of the Dead. An ordinary room near the top floor that is supported by the magical hut's characteristics as a frame. The window is like an oil painting at an art exhibition. However, more than 95% of the oil paint on it is filled with dense darkness. And the dense darkness is still flowing slowly in a twisted and rotating posture. Other than that, everything in the hut is still relatively normal. In the small fireplace, the flames rise, providing enough heat to the hut. Tucker on the meditation wool blanket has just completed a small ceremony for the Great Barrier. The object of the ritual worship is still the iron coupling source wall. Although Tucker can go deep into the level of the silver holy wall, and even touch a certain crystal source initial wall. Just like the silver holy wall is very suitable for the evil god's offspring Wendell Francis. The iron coupling source wall is also the most suitable for Tucker at present. The right one is the best. After completing the ritual worship, Tucker put away the small wooden altar. This method of fixing ritual materials with small wooden boards is simple and quick to use. Tucker doesn't know whether he is pious or not, but it is really convenient. Glancing at the closed window not far away, Tucker retracted his gaze and pulled out the small pot of black corned beef soup that had been simmering for some time from the fireplace. He began to enjoy it. Yes, Tucker was protected. Not only Tucker. This time, all the extraordinary people who entered the Demon King's tomb in the Lamore Tower were protected. Today is the third day since Tucker came out. Tucker still has no tendency to be released. Fortunately, although the shelter property of this magical hut is strong, the barrier property is not that strong. Even without phase travel, Tucker can still tear open the barrier of the magical hut and escape. Otherwise, Tucker really thought he was under house arrest. Although the steam core containing the characteristics of the angel sequence has been completely absorbed by Tucker, the steam talent has not appeared for a long time, and there is no imagined steam transformation, which allows him to officially transform into a steam wizard. On the contrary, the steam core is immersed in its own wizard sequence, without much movement. If Tucker had not accurately perceived that the angel steam core was still infiltrating his wizard tree, Tucker would have thought that he had absorbed a fake steam core. I absorbed part of the angel sequence, which caused the steam core to adapt for a longer time. After all, the volume of my steam core is much larger than other steam cores. This is Tucker's general direction of deduction. The steam core does not explode and does not transform into a steam wizard. Tucker does not dare to rashly upgrade the level and take the lead in the second stage. Not to mention that the steam core is stuck there, whether Tucker can complete the promotion to the second stage. Let's take a step back. Can Tucker's current wizard ecology really withstand the impact of 2 leader level and 1 quasi-lord level? After all, Tucker does not have time to smelt the leader level core materials now. In any case, Tucker needs to complete the thorough smelting of those leader level materials before he can swallow and absorb them for promotion. Or wait until the steam core explodes and he becomes a steam wizard. After processing the materials, complete the advancement. This is stable and safe. After enjoying the food, Tucker was thinking whether he should take out the old source steam engine and try to alchemize the leader level materials. Tucker looked outside the door and saw Lord Aubrey coming. Not long after. Squeak. With a sound, the ordinary wall turned into a doorway and was pushed open. Lord Aubrey, wearing a black undead wizard robe and with a cold and gloomy temperament, walked in. "Teacher Aubrey." Tucker stood up and greeted him. Aubrey looked at Tucker meaningfully and then slowly spoke. "Sit down." After sitting down for a while, Aubrey's somewhat hoarse voice slowly sounded, "Lamour's people are retreating." A simple sentence has sentenced Lamour to death. Although he had known about this situation for a long time. But when he heard that the extraordinary ecology that nurtured and protected him was about to be destroyed, Tucker still felt a little inexplicable throbbing in his heart. "But the Dark Sun Church will not let us retreat safely," Tucker whispered. "Yes." Aubrey's cold voice was emotionless. "So, we used Larmor to make a deal with them." "Using Larmor to make a deal?" Tucker frowned slightly. "Do you think we should defend Larmor to the death and fight to the last drop of blood?" Aubrey looked at Tucker and asked. Tucker did not respond. Aubrey took a deep breath and his tone was slightly relieved. "Child, this is the cruel reality. There are not so many beautiful stories. No one will come to save Larmor. In fact, if you understand it more deeply, you will more thoroughly realize how cold a reality Larmor faces is." Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, and he asked in a deep voice, "It was the day after the Demon King's tomb ended. Those strong men from other forces who had promised to provide a certain amount of shelter to Larmor ran away." Aubrey sneered twice. "You think too well of them. They were too lazy to wait until the next day. They ran away on the same day." Tucker took a deep breath. "They are too." For a moment, Tucker even found it difficult to use accurate words to describe this damn cold and abstract picture of reality. But this is the reality of the extraordinary world. In fact, this is already a very good situation. The appearance of light has bought some time for Larmor. The necromancer Aubrey slowly raised his head and looked at Tucker. "And this time, during the trip to the Demon King's tomb, the team you led has gained enough Demon King sequence characteristics for our Larmor. It has increased Larmor's capital for negotiating transactions. And you, as an important contributor to this trip to the Demon King's tomb, the reward will naturally not be small. Tomorrow, you need to visit Earl Larmor. Remember, Earl Larmor is a very powerful wizard. Everything, follow Earl Larmor's arrangements, understand?" "Understood." Tucker nodded carefully. "After meeting Earl Larmor, you will also leave Larmor. Be careful when you go to the outside world. Those black-hearted locals will break the bones of outsiders and squeeze out the last drop of oil. I believe you can adapt to the outside world, but you still have to be careful. All of you are forced to leave. In the final analysis, it is because Earl Larmor is too weak. It doesn't make much sense to let the extraordinary people fight to protect Larmor. Let them leave, and leave Larmor alive is the right choice. After all, there is hope only when you are alive, and there is nothing when you die. The deal with the Dark Sun Church may not be credible, but we also have a backup plan." Tucker raised his eyebrows slightly. Even in such a desperate situation, this so-called deal is still full of intrigues. But this is reality. At present, many talented extraordinary people in Larmor have been secretly sent out. Aubrey narrated slowly. "The destination is St. Lander. And that's your next stop. How far you can go in St. Lander depends on you." Tucker's heart trembled slightly. "What about you, seniors?" Aubrey smiled, and he looked out the window, and what he saw was the twisted darkness on the ink painting, deep and depressing. "You can only escape if we don't run away. Larmor needs someone to stand guard for the last shift. A few of us in Larmor use our sequences to build the sequence tree and the steam ecology. Whether it is the apprentices in the tower or the extraordinary people in the various areas below, the sequences inherited in your bodies are our continuation and the continuation of Larmor's ecology. The bloodline may be cut off, but the sequence will last forever. If I can escape in the end, maybe I will travel around the world first. In the early years, I like to travel by boat. After that, I will settle down near the Star Sea border island for a while. It is said that the waves, beaches and sunsets there are beautiful. The indigenous residents there hate the necromancers very much. I hope they won't drive me away. After that, I will go back to my hometown to take a look. Well, my hometown has long been submerged by the dark sun, and the dusty memories of my hometown are a little unclear," Aubrey explained in her low voice. Tucker was silent, standing there quietly, remembering every word of the content explained by the necromancer Aubrey. Chapter 105 3-Star Rune Witchcraft. Boom, boom, boom. Tucker put one hand on the wall of the steam tower. Tucker could hear it clearly. The steam tower was roaring and roaring at the top of its lungs, trying to drag Lamore out of the abyss of pollution and sinking. However, no matter how the roar sounded, the Lamore steam tower was being soaked and polluted at an accelerated pace, and thus rushed towards death. The Dark Sun Church did not give the Lamore Tower city-state any chance to resist. Tucker slowly withdrew his palm. But the veins had been quietly connected. Continue to walk up the steps of the steam tower. As the huge source energy steam engine of the steam tower was polluted, the source energy pool was polluted. The Lamore steam tower was carrying the weight forward. Now all the power of the Lamore steam tower is maintaining the extraordinary ecology. I hope it can last as long as possible. Other magic gates and teleports have stopped. If Lamore can't even maintain the steam ecology, the power of the Dark Sun will instantly shine on the Lamore Tower area. Then, those who are on the run now will be heavily contaminated. There are not many people retreating at this time, but there are still some. Now is the end of the retreat of the Lamore Tower city-state. Tucker climbed up the stairs, and from time to time he could see a team of 3 or 5 people rushing down the stairs in a hurry. Tucker even saw someone using the invincible Hot Wheels to go down the stairs. This scene really opened Tucker's eyes. The extraordinary world is indeed full of wonders. However, no matter how anxious you are, you can't just roll down like this. But after a while, Tucker saw 2 extraordinary people rushing down with knives twisted and angry. While rushing down, they shouted at Tucker. "Did you see anyone rolling down?" "I saw it." Tucker responded simply. "Damn bastard, let me catch him and kill him." Then the 2 disappeared at the bottom of the corridor. It's really urgent. Tucker suddenly realized. Soon, Tucker arrived at the floor where Count Lamore was, standing at the entrance of the stairs. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, carefully examining this level of the tower. What caught his eye made Tucker's heart tremble slightly. But thinking of the instructions given by Lord Aubrey yesterday, Tucker still took a deep breath. At the door, there stood a graceful and exotic woman. With wide cheekbones and a high nose bridge, her eyes were looking at Tucker with interest. Byerlin, Baron Lamore's partner, has a lot of power in the Lamore Tower city-state. Senior Byerlin. Tucker took off his hood and saluted. "I didn't expect that you are so young and your rank is not high, but you have done so many big things." Byerlin had a smile in his eyes. "Big things?" Tucker raised his eyebrows and said carefully. "These are all what I should do." This made the smile in Byerlin's eyes freeze slightly, and then she changed her face and said coldly, "Baron Lamore is waiting for you in the house. Also, I wish you good luck." Tucker took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Women change their expressions too quickly. Even my accuracy cannot predict it. "Good luck to you." It doesn't look like a good word at all. Inside the house, it was very quiet. Unlike the outside where people were running around in a panic and the floor was in a mess. Here, the sofas, bonsai, murals, and even the curtains on the windows were all arranged in an orderly manner. Inside and outside the house, it was completely 2 different worlds. With slightly gray hair and wrinkles on his forehead, even though he was old, the still burly Earl Lamore was leaning over the table, writing with a rustling sound. Tucker remembered it clearly. When he was young, Baron Lamore was in the tavern. He was a ruthless man who drank all the adventurers in the tavern. Old Call mentioned this to Tucker many times. Tucker waited quietly, and even looked at the fireplace with interest from time to time. "I saw. There are a small number of flame elves in the flames in the magic fireplace. The steam tower will not only form steam elves, but also give birth to flame elves in the long-lasting flame furnace. This long time is usually measured in years. If you think the time is too long, you can go to other places to catch some wild flame elves and raise them. Just don't raise them to death." In addition to the flame elves in the magic fireplace, there are also veins. A large number of arcane magic net veins. With the advent of the extraordinary steam era, the arcane magic net has flourished with the magic industry of the source energy steam engine. The magic network, the source energy veins developed by steam and train tracks, runs through all parts of the world. This also allows the arcane magic net to be used very effectively. Although the arcane magic net has not been widely popularized, it is still very convenient and fast for the tower supernaturals to build a magic fireplace and deliver magic letters. After all, the letters delivered through the arcane magic net are much more efficient than those magic pets. Not long after, Earl Lamore stopped writing. He straightened up and stretched his back, which was a little tired from sitting for a long time. "I'm old," and my body is not so good. Count Larmor shook his head and smiled. So, you young guys, you must build your own extraordinary state as soon as possible. If possible, try to exist in the form of extraordinary state. Once some minor problems of the flesh are engraved in the framework of the extraordinary ecology, then the extraordinary state will think that this state is a unique property of the ecology. Thus, these damn negative states are also absorbed into the framework. That feeling is it's like sand in your shoes. It's not fatal, but the uncomfortable feeling will be unforgettable. Count Larmor said and walked to the magic closet. Throw the letters one by one into the magic fireplace. The magic flame quickly devoured and digested the letters. Count Larmor turned around and looked Tucker up and down, and slowly told this story. The first time I heard your name was when Ziller mentioned the 2 tomb robbers in the Demon King's tomb to me. At that time, I was still wondering what kind of powerful tomb robbers could break the seal of the Demon King's tomb. Now it seems that the gravedigger of the Demon King's tomb is indeed capable of breaking the seal of the Demon King's tomb. Count Larmor smiled with satisfaction. As a member of Larmor, you have always done very well. To be honest, I don't have too many good things in my hands that can be used as your reward. As he said, Count Larmor looked outside at the polluted steam ring. For so many years, I have invested too many resources in the steam tower. Fortunately, when I was adventuring outside in the early years, I still got some good rune witchcraft. Rune witchcraft. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. In the witchcraft spell system, rune witchcraft is a powerful 3-star witchcraft. The spell containing the power of runes is undoubtedly powerful. The basic power of rune witchcraft alone is much stronger than that of 2-star witchcraft. Many wizards, no matter what, will master 1 or 2 rune witchcraft as their ultimate skills. I have 2 seeds of rune witchcraft in my hand. One is the rune spirit hand. When you cast this witchcraft spell, you can condense a huge palm. The rune hand can be transformed into a shield to resist various attacks around, and it can also give wizards powerful medium and long-range attack methods. Is the strength of this spirit hand transformed into a shield high enough? Tucker asked with some curiosity. Count Larmor was slightly startled, and then laughed. This wizard named Tucker is indeed different from ordinary wizards. As a rune spell, the strength of the condensed body itself is still very guaranteed. Count Larmor slowly narrated. When you understand the mystery of the runes, you will have an invisible hand. The 3rd hand. Tucker raised his eyebrows. This rune spiritual hand sounded very interesting. Tucker was not in a hurry to make a decision. What about the 2nd rune witchcraft? Chapter 106. The price I paid was actually me. The 2nd rune witchcraft is called Rune Hurricane Holding. This is a powerful wind attack spell. After mastering it, you can release powerful hurricane blades, hurricane vortexes, and other wind spells at any time. And you can use this spell to change the weather within a certain range. After comprehending the mystery of the wind rune, you can also bless some of your own wind runes. As Count Larmor explained rune witchcraft, Tucker opened the knowledge box of learning and understanding rune witchcraft. Rune witchcraft is no longer a single witchcraft like 1-star and 2-star witchcraft. The existence of 3-star rune witchcraft itself is a development of witchcraft in a big direction. At the same time, rune witchcraft seeds will also develop the rune system in the wizard ecosystem. Therefore, wizards will be more cautious when choosing rune witchcraft seeds. They will try their best to choose the rune witchcraft that fits their talents. While Tucker was thinking, Count Larmor asked slowly, "Have you made up your mind?" "Well, I have." Tucker nodded. "I want to learn both. Only children do multiple choice questions. I want both." Tucker's choice made Earl Larmor laugh. "Okay." Earl Larmor readily agreed to Tucker's choice. The reason why Earl Larmor agreed was also very simple. That is, Tucker is extremely talented in practicing witchcraft. This was explained by Aubrey himself when he was chatting with him. Art. This is the best explanation of Tucker's control of witchcraft. He has an incredible talent in the practice and mastery of ordinary witchcraft at 1 and 2 stars. Then his talent in the 3-star rune witchcraft must not be bad. This is a consistent principle. 2 rune witchcraft seeds were taken out by Earl Larmor, 1 in front and 1 behind. Rune spiritual hand. It presents the deep blue and quiet luster of the soul, which is said to be consistent with the color of the sea. Rune, hurricane hold. It showed a green luster, and just by taking it out, it naturally showed the whirlwind and oppression of the wind rune. After handing the seeds of both rune witchcraft to Tucker, Earl Lamore slowly narrated. Although both rune witchcraft seeds are given to you, you must remember. You can only learn and master one rune witchcraft first, until you comprehend the rune mystery in this rune witchcraft and can master it more skillfully, then you can learn the second rune witchcraft. I understand. Tucker nodded. Although the time spent studying in the Lamore Tower was not long, but Tucker learned a lot about wizards. The power of runes is naturally strong, and the confrontation between different runes is extremely fierce. Before, Earl Lamore took out the two rune witchcrafts separately to prevent the two runes from coming into close contact. Otherwise, it would have an impact on both rune witchcrafts. If a wizard learns other rune witchcraft before he has mastered the secrets of the rune witchcraft in his hand and cannot gather the rune power, the powerful rune sequence seed will use the wizard ecology as a battlefield and completely eliminate the rune power that comes in later. Of course, the wizard ecology as a battlefield will not be much better. At the least, the sequence will collapse, and at the worst, it will explode on the spot. The power of runes is not something that can be easily provoked. But if you comprehend a certain rune secret and master the rune secret, you can collect and control the rune power. Then you can learn the second rune witchcraft. Feeling the two powerful 3-star rune witchcrafts in hand, Tucker exhaled lightly. Rune witchcraft, Tucker wanted to get it a long time ago. But first of all, Tucker was embarrassed to ask Lord Aubrey for it. You can't just grab a sheep and pull the wool hard. Secondly, his wizard foundation is still shallow, and it is estimated that even if he asks Lord Aubrey for it, all they would get is a lesson. And this time, Tucker's performance in the Demon King's tomb was reported truthfully by the team members. Tucker finally got his wish and got his 3-star rune witchcraft, and 2 of them. Now it seems that my rune witchcraft is more than my 2-star witchcraft. When I go to Saint Land, I have to learn a few more 2-star witchcraft. Tucker thought secretly. After all, it's impossible to give the enemy a big wave as soon as the fight starts. Not only the enemy can't stand it, I don't think I can stand it either. After checking, Tucker was satisfied and collected his mind. At this time, Count Lamore was standing by the window, quietly watching the darkness outside, the darkness shrouded by the rituals of the Dark Sun Church. We, Lamore, have a high tower station in the Saint Land extraordinary city-state. You should know this. Count Lamore slowly narrated. I know. Tucker nodded. Moreover, Teacher Aubrey also told me that it was Zilur who presided over everything there. Yes. When Zilur was mentioned, a very happy smile appeared on the wrinkled face of Count Lamore. The letter I just wrote was to Zilur. The resources brought back by your teammates are also deposited in the Tower of Saint Land. After you go there, Zilur will give you the things that originally belonged to you. Zilur, but I am my favorite student. Steam Knight. Lamore sighed softly. When I was young, the knowledge of the steam sequence only existed in those big guys on the steam roaring rails. Or in the steam machinery in the steam factory that spewed steam and worked day and night. And now, the steam sequence has become the representative of the advanced extraordinary sequence. The roar is resounding throughout the era. You have caught up with a good era. Tucker. The thick darkness gradually filled the pupils of Count Lamore. Baron Lamore's tone began to become deep, melodious, and low. Do you have such doubts? Why did the Dark Sun Church clearly want to exterminate our Lamore Tower city-state before? They even wanted to pollute a large number of extraordinary people, making them the flesh and blood placenta of the Dark Sun, and reproduce those ugly and sinful Dark Sun evils for them. But, after a trip to the Demon King's tomb, even when the extraordinary masters of several other major forces have left, the Dark Sun Church has let a large number of extraordinary people leave Lamore. Why is this? In other words, what is the price behind all this? Count Lamore's question was calm and natural, and he didn't seem to be explaining the doubts in his heart. Tucker thought about it and said seriously, I think I don't have such doubts. Tucker took a deep breath, and the magical power in his hand was already grasped. Count Lamore paused, and then nodded. Yes, you don't have such doubts. After all, you know what you did. And we don't know. Count Lamore murmured in a low voice. And this is the price. As the Count of Lamore's whispering came to an end, the originally quiet, neat and orderly house began to become unreal. The mural not far away quickly enlarged. The outline of a wizard wearing an old wizard robe and a wizard hat walked out of the scroll. In the magic fireplace, the flame elves were restless and noisy, and a figure emerged from the flames. In the dark corners where the light could not reach, the floating shadow wizard and his death servants were also sharpening their knives, as if waiting for the harvest. Tucker's eyes gradually swept over the figures hiding in the corners. The Archbishop of the Dark Sun Church, the extraordinary witch, Ada Hicks. The Bishop of the Dark Sun Church, the extraordinary assassin, Henry Moore. The Bishop of the Dark Sun Church, the Shadow Walker, Lucia Eugene. It is said that this time, in order to attack Lamore Tower city-state, the Dark Sun Church sent an archbishop and 3 bishops. At this time, 3 of the 4 gathered around Tucker. The price. It's me. Looking at the 3 powerful men from the Dark Sun Church, Tucker responded in a low voice. Chapter 107 Blasphemer. In the magic fireplace, the flames crackled. The flame elves hugged each other tightly and trembled. The invisible force pressed them tightly at the intersection of wood and flame. Tucker. A sound, not too loud or too soft, was like a stone thrown into the dark and silent lake, breaking the silent dark silence. Tucker looked over and saw the bishop shrouded in shadows, the shadow walker Lucia Eugene. Jiria suffered a lot in your hands. Jiria is your student? Tucker asked with his head tilted. Jiria, the escaped shadow walker who attacked Tucker's replacement, the Zabihiro Tanaru. Yes. Then he should be thankful that I am not on a high floor, otherwise, he would never see you again that day. Tucker smiled and said. Haha, you do have some tricks, I admit that. Lucia Eugene responded lightly. But more than a little. Tucker's tone was unusually calm. By the way, I still remember that Shadow Walker Garia took away one of my Earth Rune rings. You see, I have a good memory. Besides, I hold grudges. If there is a chance in the future, that guy named Garia should regret taking away my East Palace West. Later. Lucia Eugene shook his head. Until now, are you still full of fantasies about your future? Tucker took a deep breath. What if not? Tucker. At this time, Count Larmor behind Tucker spoke slowly. When you came in, I had already used the power of the entire steam tower to imprison and lock this lair. Not to mention you, even the respected Archbishop Ada Hicks can't easily break it. Don't make any more meaningless struggles. Tucker remained silent. Count Larmor looked at the 3 Dark Sun bishops with interest. I'm really curious, what did Tucker do that made Larmor, who you have been trying to get for so many years, prefer Tucker to nothing? Our deal is not to satisfy your curiosity. Lucia Eugene responded coldly. Okay. Count Larmor shrugged and turned his head to look at Tucker. Also, do you remember what Aubrey said to you? Tucker looked at Baron Larmor sideways. After a while, he responded softly. Of course I remember. Since you still remember, that's good. Count Larmor nodded. As soon as the voice fell, a palm had already landed on Tucker's shoulder. Your steam core has not yet transformed, that's because you haven't felt the true origin roar of the steam sequence. That's the voice of the great spirit of steam and railroad. Remember, listen carefully to the sound of Larmor's steam tower. Following the voice of Count Larmor, Archbishop Dark Sun, Ada Haxton felt something was wrong. The moment he made a move, Count Larmor had also made a move. Tucker felt a trance in front of his eyes. When Earl Larmor controlled the steam tower to deliver Tucker's lair domain, it was like a cannonball, launching Tucker fiercely. Fortunately, Tucker himself had the ability of phase walking, which could offset the steam power of the steam ejection. Otherwise, this kind of miracle layer domain delivery would at least make him dizzy. The layer domain, wrapped in steam, made Tucker move forward rapidly in the form of energy torrents. The voice of Earl Larmor came from the steam. Tucker. Using you as bait to trap the 3 bishops is the best way we can think of. Using you as a price to make a deal is just a cover. Otherwise, too many extraordinary people in Larmor will die in their hands. Now, do your best and run. In the state of moving forward with steam. Tucker, who has a powerful phase supernatural power, looked at the back of the phase layer domain. I saw. In a dark and burning black fog, a pair of extremely penetrating lava pupils vaguely emerged. Some kind of demonic witchcraft beyond Tucker's cognition? Or witchcraft like blood curse? Tucker didn't know. Tucker didn't want to know. Well, at this speed, the witchcraft behind will soon catch up. Even if I have the power of Baron Lamor's steam tower to protect me, when gods fight, mortals suffer. Go. Tucker walked directly in a phase without hesitation, breaking away from the protection of the steam power. In terms of layer domain travel, the Demon King's magical power, phase walking, is definitely a top professional. Tucker just broke free from the layer domain delivery. The darkness and the biting wind swept across Tucker's cheek like a blade. The feeling of weightlessness came with it. Tucker appeared in the air far away from the steam tower and even from the Lamore Tower city-state. Shadow state, shadow robe, micro-hurricane. A hurricane suddenly rose, carrying the shadow state. Holding up the shadow wings, Tucker glided towards the direction away from the rammer steam tower and moved forward rapidly. At the same time, boom, boom. Tucker glanced back and saw that the ripples in the depths of the domain bloomed layer by layer. When it reached Tucker, the dull explosion sounded like a heavy heartbeat, sweeping through Tucker's body, making Tucker feel a nauseous feeling of blood surging all over his body. The collision between the witchcraft of the strong. It is a crime for the weak to glance at it. Rammer steam tower. Feeling the barrier of the domain dimension in front of her. It was indeed a domain barrier that she could not open for a moment. Then, the Archbishop Extraordinary Witch, Ada Hicks, turned around and looked at Count Rammer. Anger was brewing in the depths of her pupils, but she was terrifyingly calm. You are very good. Not only did you deceive us, but you also let go of the blasphemer who blasphemed the great dark sun. As an accomplice of the blasphemer, you are unforgivable. I will sacrifice your soul to wash away the sin of blasphemy. Looking at the angry and calm dark sun archbishop in front of him, while stimulating the original roar of the rammer steam tower, he smiled and said to the side, Aubrey, look at the good apprentice you taught. Tisk tisk. Blasphemer, even if we want to become blasphemers, I'm afraid we don't have the qualifications. That kid actually became a blasphemer at such a young age. The wall on one side showed the characteristics of the magical door and was pushed open. Aubrey, wearing a dark wizard robe, walked in with the same expression as always, cold and deadly. I can't teach such a disciple. What he inherited in his body is your wizard sequence. You are his true enlightener. Aubrey's words made Rammer smile even more brilliantly. You don't have to accompany me. I'm anchored to the Lamore steam tower and can't leave it. You guys are different. You're talking as if you'll leave us behind and run away. The speaker was fighter Oswaya, who was following the necromancer Aubrey. He had already put on heavy boxing gloves on both hands. Bailey, who said nothing, had already drawn his two swords and was staring murderously at the Archbishop Ada Hicks, who had crushed the entire Lamore Tower city-state with his own hands. Slowly retracting his gaze from the glass that matched the barrier, Ada Hicks gradually passed by the four people in front of him and spoke in a cold tone. You four, come together. Woo woo woo. The low, melodious, heavy, and penetrating roar of the origin of the Lamore steam tower. At this moment, it was pulled with all the strength of Count Lamore. Woo woo woo. The earth, the sky, and the depths of the layer dimension. At this moment, they were all resonating with the roar of the Lamore steam tower. For a moment, all the supernaturals who were fleeing in Lamore heard the roar of Lamore steam tower. They couldn't help but look back. Far away, Tucker, who had landed on the hill, looked back at Lamore's tower. The light of Lamore's tower was already faintly invisible. And at this moment, woo woo woo. The low, melodious, and heavy roar of the origin of Lamore's steam tower swept over. It resounded through Tucker's soul, heart, and wizard sequence. It perfectly matched and resonated with the angel steam core deep in the wizard sequence tree. Tucker's steam core was started with a bang. The transformation of the steam wizard began. Woo! The steam core emitted the first steam cry of the steam sequence, blooming in the wizard tree. Although the sound was not loud, it was extremely strong and powerful. It echoed with the roar of the end of the Lamore steam tower that resounded throughout the world. Chapter 108 Steam Wizard. Grade 8. Bloody sunlight, bright and abundant. A breeze blew across the lush grassland on the west bank of the Black River Valley Tower city-state. The depressed grass revealed a small but not small number of sheep. The river valley plain of the Black River Valley is very large. But there are not many shepherds who dare to graze in the river valley area near the ruins of the Lamore Tower. First of all, the Dark Sun Invasion War half a year ago completely reduced the Lamore Tower city-state to ruins, occupied by the Dark Sun Church, herders, and Dark Sun Evil Fall. This is a dangerous area. Although the patrol guards of the Black River Valley will also conduct routine patrols. But when those herders really come with the Dark Sun Evil Fall, those patrol guards of the Black River Valley will definitely run faster than the shepherds here. It is said that once the Black River Valley guards robbed the shepherd's lamb. In the crowd, a fearful and vivid roar, "The Dark Sun Church is coming," scared the Black River Valley patrol guards. They hurriedly rode their moon-patterned horses and fled. The shepherds around laughed. Secondly, there were wolves on the riverside grassland of the Black River Valley near the ruins of the Lamore Tower. Compared with the evil dark sun, the shepherds hated the wolves more. Of course, not all shepherds hated the wolves. Under the ash day, the cool breeze of the river valley blew across the sheep farm path and swept across the slightly red cheeks of Aaron. Aaron, who was just 16 years old, benefited from the advantages of being a shepherd. There was no shortage of meat, and she could even eat wolf meat of a certain grade occasionally. This made her body development much fuller and stronger than girls of the same age. In the riverside pasture, some other shepherds looked at Irene with strange eyes from time to time. It is said that some shepherds who graze all year round will use sheep to solve problems. When a lively, cute, and youthful girl appears, the picture that emerges in the minds of those crazy guys is self-evident. Fortunately, as a shepherd, Irene's talent is not low. She became a first-level shepherd a year ago. She can obtain a lot of source energy from the sheep she grazes. Her level has also reached level 14. It is precisely because of this level, plus a few powerful spells, that other shepherds have restrained themselves a lot. However, in the past 6 months, what really made other shepherds so honest was not Irene's level and strength. Instead, it was an outsider shepherd. Coming to the edge of a river valley forest, Irene couldn't help but stick her head out to look inside. However, this river valley forest was always filled with a faint mist. Even the ashes in the sky could not shine through. Irene's grandfather told her that was not fog, but source energy steam. Although she didn't quite understand what source energy steam was, from her grandfather's tone and the fact that other shepherds would avoid this place, it was obviously a powerful method. Tanneru, I've got the Veragi liquor you're asked for. Following Irene's voice, in the gray fog, there was a creaking sound of a wooden door being pushed open. Then, a figure walked out through the gray fog. What came into view was a young wizard of about 17 or 18 years old, wearing a gray hooded wizard robe. He had a clean and neat short hair, fair skin, and slightly handsome features. The most eye-catching thing was that pair of eyes, which were as deep and peaceful as obsidian gems. Irene, who was just beginning to fall in love, couldn't help but look at those eyes twice more. Here. Irene handed over the small wooden barrel of wine. Thank you for the long journey. The young wizard thanked him. It's not hard. When I traveled far away with my grandfather in the past, we carried much more things than now. Irene smiled. The young wizard Tucker glanced at the girl. The shepherd girl Irene was indeed strong and had a plump figure. If you hadn't let my grandfather and I live near you, the sheephead and those valley inspectors would have caused us a lot of trouble. The girl Irene, who was not in a hurry to leave, told the story intermittently. I heard that the new brewer in the tavern in the riverside town is from the Rammer Tower city-state. The brewed Veragi liquor is the original taste of Rammer. Many guests who tasted it said it was good. Half a year ago, many people who escaped from Rammer, some entered St. Land, and some came to the border towns around the Black River Valley to make a living. Maybe there are people you know in the riverside town. Wizard Tucker glanced in the direction of the St. Land extraordinary city-state, and then looked at the location of the Black River Valley. It is indeed possible. Tucker nodded. At this moment, a shout came from a distance. Aaron, I'm dying of thirst, why don't you come back? I'm coming. Hearing the shout, Aaron raised her head and responded loudly to her grandfather's position. But when she saw the young wizard in front of her, she seemed to feel that doing so was a bit unladylike, and her face suddenly blushed. I'll come over later, can you tell me more about the skills of sheep transformation? Before leaving, Aaron made a request to Tucker. No problem, you can come anytime. Well, thank you. Aaron, carrying a small bucket of wine and a lot of food, hurried away half shyly and half excitedly. When Aaron left, a shadow wolf jumped out of the shadow behind her and disappeared into the bushes. The ranch in the town of Black River Valley is not safe, and the existence of the shadow wolf can undoubtedly ensure the safety of the girl. After all, during this period of time, the girl Aaron has helped Tucker a lot. Watch Aaron leave. Tucker turned around and entered the steam-shrouded cabin behind him. Half a year ago, Tucker fled from Lamore like other fugitives. Other extraordinary people can enter St. Land, enter other extraordinary city-states, and even leave the Dark Curtain province to go to other places. However, because Tucker has a system anchoring the second layer of the Demon King's tomb, Tucker first went south to St. Land. But unfortunately, when there was still a long distance from the border town of St. Land, the system prompted Tucker to leave the stable development area. The Demon King's magical fragment will not be available after this village. Tucker couldn't bear to give up. Then, Tucker took Lamore as the center and went north in an arc. Finally, he found a suitable place to stay in the riverside town of the Black River Valley. Time flies, and half a year has passed. Tucker is developing steadily here. At the same time, he is steadily promoting the transformation of his steam wizard ecology, comprehending the way of runes, and improving his strength. At the same time, he was also deepening his study of wizard knowledge and alchemy knowledge systems. Knowing that Lamore could not survive, Tucker took away many books on these subjects from Aubrey. Although it was in a border town, Tucker also learned about the situation in St. Land over the past 6 months through the shepherds here at the Valley Ranch and the border town of the Valley, as well as the many changes in the situation when Lamore and his people entered St. Land. Lamore, as a bridgehead, fell. The invasion of the Dark Sun began to infiltrate St. Land. The war did not end with Lamore's death. It can even be said that Lamore's fall was just the beginning. Entering the cabin, Tucker stretched out his nose and sniffed. Immediately, an invisible hand opened the cork. The familiar aroma of wine came to his face. Tucker poured a small glass, tasted it a little, and couldn't help showing a satisfied expression. It's the original taste of Lamore. It seems that it is indeed Lamore who came to brew. Although the cabin in the valley woodland is simple, it has been blessed by the iron coupling source wall. Even if the Wolf King leader comes, it may not be able to open it. It is naturally a piece of cake to block the rain. Not far away, an old source energy steam engine is spraying source energy steam smoothly and steadily, maintaining the small steam ecology around it. After Tucker finished the Verigi liquor in the cup, he opened the attribute panel. Superb sequence, Steam Wizard, level 19. Origin Dark Sea, level 19. Superb magical power, Phase Walker, 665 fragments, level 19. Superb talent, Precision Correction, SSS level 1050%. Steam Origin Spiritual State, SSS level 1650%. Superb Witchcraft Ability, Sheep Transformation, ability, level 19. Touch Perception, ability, level 19. Rune, Hand of Spiritual Movement, 3 stars, level 19. Rune, Hurricane Hold, 3 stars, level 19. Spear of Light Shaping, 2 stars, level 19. Arcane Shot, level 19. Abyss, Bloodthirsty Demon Vine, level 19. Dragon Scale Shield, level 19. Nightmare Oil Bomb, level 19. Micro, Hurricane, level 19. Half a year. Tucker had already completed the transformation of a steam wizard. At the same time, he also awakened the C-level 26% steam talent steam state. When the awakening of the steam talent was completed, seeing that it was another C-level talent, Tucker was not surprised. Steam state. It is a common steam talent. It can make Tucker better fit and master steam. In a steam environment, he can better absorb and digest source energy, and the effect of fitting in with nature will be better. On the surface, it is beautiful. But the help that the C-level 26% steam talent can provide is really limited. But as Tucker gradually invested in talent points, the C-level talent began to really become C. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 SSS Level. The C-level steam state talent is in hand. It has an effect, but not much. Steam source energy will only respond when Tucker actively calls it. Without the precise talent, Tucker's delicate sensing and operation through source energy steam are relatively obscure. When Tucker added the steam talent of steam state to 100%, it entered the category of A-level talent. The situation changed instantly. The source energy steam became obviously active in Tucker's perception. The fit and perception clarity have risen to a higher level. Even Tucker's efficiency in activating steam source energy has become much faster, and there is a smooth and natural feeling. When the points are added to 200%, it becomes an S-level steam talent. The steam talent has undergone the first qualitative change. Steam state has become steam, Spiritual state. Tucker's perception began to enter the deeper dimension of steam, from the most simple source energy steam level spiritual state. This seems to involve the state of the depth of the layer dimension, soul, and material energy. This touches Tucker's knowledge blind spot. After all, Tucker didn't have much knowledge of the steam sequence to begin with. Based on the principle of I don't understand, but I can slowly explore, coupled with the principle of strong values are truly strong, Tucker continued to add points. When it reached 500%, the steam source energy responded to Tucker, and Tucker's thoughts could guide the flow of steam source energy. When it reached 1000%, it became an SSS-level extraordinary talent. Steam, astral state further transformed and became steam, original astral state. In Tucker's world, source energy and steam source energy all revolve around Tucker. The world became clearer, more thorough, easier to understand, and easier to analyze in Tucker's perception. If precision, correction, is to see into the trajectory and context of the world and modify it, then steam, original astral state, is to conform to the original rules of the world and master them. Yes, steam, original astral state, has the ability to see into the essence of the world. This is also the experience that Tucker has been constantly exploring and summarizing in the past 6 months. It is precisely by borrowing this feature that Tucker, without any guidance, has slowly explored and mastered the 2 rune witchcrafts. In fact, using the code and feature of precision and correction, Tucker can also perceive and master the rune mysteries. But the perception of the steam and origin spirit state to perceive the rune mysteries of all things in nature is more effective. Therefore, Tucker did not hesitate to put all the fragments into the steam and origin spirit state. Let the steam and origin spirit state reach a high level of 1650%. The 2 SSS level extraordinary talents can perceive and analyze the rune mysteries in their own way. This also made Tucker realize the power of the SSS level extraordinary talents. In the past 6 months, the Demon King's magical power fragments have been slowly accumulated to 665 pieces. After 200 fragments and 500 fragments, the extraordinary magical power, phase walking, has not undergone any qualitative changes. It's just that the strength of the magical power is constantly stacking, and the ability to travel is constantly strengthening. Tucker roughly judged that this Demon King's magical power itself was probably strong enough, and there should be no qualitative change. Half a year is not long, nor is it short. Now, Tucker is already thinking about leaving the ranch and going to Saint Land. On the one hand, Tucker has no better way to continue to improve here. On the other hand, Tucker wants to transform and upgrade the 3 major leader materials. The tools in Tucker's hand are currently unable to complete the refining. After completing the transformation of the steam wizard, Tucker thought about refining the 3 major leader materials, and then promoted to the 2nd level, so that his strength can be greatly improved. However, when Tucker pushed the old source energy steam engine to the maximum and the crucible was about to melt, the leader level materials in the crucible were still motionless and showed no tendency to be refined. Tucker consulted the relevant alchemy books of the leader and found out, if you want to smelt leader level materials, ordinary source energy flames are simply not enough. Either it needs to contain the flame characteristics of the leader, preferably the lord level. Of course, if it has the dragon breath characteristics, it would be better. Dragon breath characteristics? Where can I find dragon breath characteristics for you? This made Tucker, who wanted to advance at the time, so angry that he wanted to hit someone. Tucker even thought about whether to use a bully to force himself to take 3 portions of leader materials. But after thinking about it carefully, Tucker gave up this somewhat risky plan. He chose to refine first and then take it. Anyway, for Tucker, as long as he breaks through, it will only take a few minutes to upgrade to level 29. Moreover, it is also Tucker's plan to buy a good set of alchemical metallurgy. Tucker has a unique alchemical talent, and it would be a pity not to burn the furnace. And the 3 pieces of leader-level materials are also excellent materials for Tucker to improve his alchemical experience. Just as Tucker was preparing to continue to comprehend the mystery of the soul rune next to the source energy steam engine, Brother Tanaru, the voice of the girl Irene, came from outside. Tucker pushed open the door. Eileen, who was holding a thick book called Shepherds on the Plateau, was looking at Tucker expectantly. Tucker glanced at the book Shepherds on the Plateau and said, "Actually, if you want to understand the shepherd sequence in depth, this book is not very useful. This book is the real explanation of the essential relationship between shepherds and sheep." Tucker took out a book. Its name is Shepherds, Prisoners, Sheep. Eileen leaned over to examine it for a moment, and then hesitantly said, "Ah, this book. Grandpa said that this is a banned book." Tucker smiled. "Read it carefully, it will help you." Tucker handed the book directly to the girl Eileen. "In addition, in terms of the sheep transformation technique, which part of your sheep transformation process is problematic?" "Well, it's the infiltration part. The infiltration of my sheep transformation technique is too easy to be interrupted." The girl Eileen, who had long been confused about this, immediately spoke up. For the many spells in her hands. After Tucker awakened the steam origin spiritual state, he also spent his free time to comprehend, ponder, and experience these witchcrafts. After all, only when you understand thoroughly can you perform them better. About an hour later, Irene, who felt that her head seemed to be filled with a lot of knowledge that she didn't understand at all, got up a little drowsily. She was going to go back and have a good sleep, and have a good exchange with a sheep spirit in her ecology. In this way, she could better digest those magical knowledge. Irene, who left drowsily, didn't notice that her grandfather, the old shepherd Old Blue, was quietly waiting on the sheep farm path outside the steam grove. As a shepherd sequence, it is good at herding, observing, and adjusting souls, lives, and extraordinary ecology. Using the extraordinary ecology as a pasture, herding life, harvesting souls, this is the essence of a shepherd. But when this sequence sinks to the bottom of the human extraordinary society, it becomes an effective means of making a living herding sheep. You know what? Shepherds are born to be good at herding sheep. They are absolute masters of the flock, and can effectively perceive the health and growth status of the flock. They can also drive away diseases, feel the fertility of the grassland in the natural environment, and have a keen insight into the seasons and environment. Although the shepherd, Old Blue, does not have strong strength, but years of grazing have given him a keen perception of danger and strength. As Irene entered the wooden house not far away, I don't know when, the clouds blocked the ash day that was about to end. Woo-woo. The wind gradually became biting at this time. The dark clouds in the distance gradually swept in. The rainy season. It's coming. Hello, young wizard. Shepherd Old Blue bowed and saluted, his body bowed very firmly, and his expression was respectful. Irene couldn't see the horror and power of the young wizard in front of her. But how could he not see it? The other shepherds herded sheep. The terrifying wizard in front of him was not herding sheep, but a group of wolves in sheep's clothing. The terrifying sheep transforming technique killed the wolf's nature and shaped the sheep's nature. The wolf pack became a flock of sheep. Such a powerful method of changing the ecology of the tribe is something that shepherds at the bottom of society will never be able to touch in their lifetime. "Old man, the rainy season is coming, can I sell my sheep?" Tucker asked kindly. Although Tucker was herding sheep here, he had no experience in the subsequent series of operations. The old man in front of him was a professional shepherd. It can be sold, but the price of the sheep transformed by the wolf will not be too high. And, if the witchcraft is not closed, the price will be halved again. Old Blue responded seriously. "The sheep transforming technique of hundreds of wolves is closed, I can guarantee this." Tucker responded affirmatively. "Hundreds of wolves, all closed? You know, this is against the ecology of the wolf pack." Old Blue couldn't help swallowing his saliva to cover up his inner fear. After all, such a powerful witchcraft can also turn people into sheep. After a moment, Old Blue nodded seriously and responded, "No problem, go to the riverside town, there are many sheep heads there, and there are many people who collect sheep." "Thank you very much." "Hey. It's just a small favor. I also have to thank the wizard for his protection during this period. Otherwise, those damn wolves will definitely steal a lot of sheep." Old Blue waved his hands hurriedly. Boom. Rumble. The low-pressure leaden clouds in the distance gradually swept and gathered, and thunder and heavy rain were brewing in them. The rainy season is here, and it's time to go to the riverside town. Looking at the dark clouds coming from the north, Tucker thought quietly. Chapter 110. The rain in this rainy season is more intense than in the past. A few days ago, it was just leaden clouds. Today, the sky seemed to be torn open. The heavy rain was pouring down. It seemed to submerge the entire River Valley town. As the first day of the gray night period, the rain was particularly cold. This also made the tavern in the River Valley town particularly lively with many extraordinary people. In the corner of the bar, Tucker just got 76 magic golds for selling sheep. There are more than 120 sheep. If they are normal sheep, they can naturally sell for more than 200 magic golds, or even more. Unfortunately, they are sheep transformed from wolves. But even so, Tucker is quite satisfied. After all, these magic golds are equivalent to picking up for free. Moreover, it is feasible to transform wolves into sheep and sell them for money. It can't be said to be a way to get rich, but at least you can make some extra money. While groping for the magic gold in his pocket, Tucker's eyes were also on the system page. As Tucker left the development area anchored by the steady development system, the icon of the development area that was flashing before was completely dimmed at this time. There was no more source energy experience gained from development in the development log. Huh? Tucker exhaled lightly. Lamor's development cycle is completely over. The next step is to go to Saint Land and anchor the source energy tower of Saint Land, which can provide me with sufficient source energy experience. At the same time, hide my identity and open my own alchemy material store in Saint Land. As a supernatural being, it is naturally not possible to have no skills. Tucker can't rely on the gifts of nature to make a living every day. As long as Tucker can bring out his alchemy ability, it is not too difficult to make money. And hiding the identity is inevitable. Tucker knows what Tucker has done better than anyone else. Those 3 bishops would rather give up Lamor than Tucker's head. Tucker still knows the weight of this. In Lamor, Tucker still has many strong people to protect him. Go to Saint Land. Protect? What a joke. Today Tucker dared to reveal his identity. Tucker might die in the street tomorrow. Tucker would not reveal his identity until he was strong enough. Even Tucker's appearance now was a combination of Teneru and Tucker's own appearance. Now Tucker was going to enter Saint Land as a Lamor fugitive. Not as Tucker. In the next few days, collect intelligence information in the valley town first. After you are prepared, you can go to Saint Land. Tucker thought about it while amplifying his perception. The conversations of many extraordinary people were like a torrent of information, which was quickly collected by Tucker. There is no doubt that in this tavern, just sitting here can collect enough information. Tucker has done this a lot in the past. It feels like time is about right. Tucker then looked at the young bartender at the bar. Then Tucker took out a silver dragon coin and placed it on the table. A silver dragon has a face value of 50 copper coins. It is enough for Tucker to have a full meal and drink until he is full. Do you know where the alchemist shop in the riverside town is? Tucker asked. Before the young bartender could answer, a burly man wearing a bearskin coat answered first. Hey, little brother. If you buy me a drink, I'll take you to the alchemy shop in town for free. After all, I also need to go there to refine my weapons. Tucker looked sideways. The extraordinary weapon on the back of a level 15 knight was of very poor quality. It was obviously not necessary to refine it. It would be a better choice to just scrap it. No problem. Tucker smiled and agreed. At this time, some extraordinary people around him had already started to laugh secretly. From his accent, they could tell that Tucker was a foreigner. They liked to see rookies like Tucker being beaten by old birds. In their words, this was the greeting gift from the Black River Valley. Even some young and handsome guys would be caught by some guys with special fetishes and taken to the sheepfold to complete their coming-of-age greeting gift. After finishing his drink, the level 15 knight stood up and walked towards the back door of the tavern. Aren't you going through the front door? Tucker made a kind reminder. No need, the back door is closer. The knight waved his hand and said. At this time, more people around him were looking at Tucker. They had vaguely seen the young wizard being pressed to the ground by the knight and kissing the earth. In that case, all right. Tucker ignored him and followed him. In the alley behind the tavern, the heavy rain was clattering. Woo-woo. The walking knight suddenly heard the roar of the source energy steam engine, and even the intermittent whistle sounded rhythmically, quite clear, as if it was right next to his ear. Huh? There is no steam train in the Black River Valley? Are you hallucinating? The knight shook his head vigorously. Forget it, let's get rid of the young wizard behind first. That guy came from the direction of the sheepfold. He must have made money by selling sheep. When the knight turned around, his eyes suddenly widened. It was obvious that the wizard was a rookie. At this time, his ears followed the rhythm of the roar of steam engines, and the source energy steam was like smoke rings, bubbling out. Even the source energy steam had begun to swirl around him, forming a steam ring. Damn it! Steam wizard, this is a steam wizard. The knight's legs trembled violently, his eyes almost popped out. The strength is comparable to that of a warrior, the defense is comparable to that of a knight, the speed and flexibility are comparable to that of an assassin, and the damage-making ability is super double that of a regular wizard. This is the Steam Wizard. Just in terms of strength, the Steam Wizard in front of him can press him to the ground and kiss Mother Earth all night. Bang! A dull collision sound rang out, and the knight was directly thrown to the ground and thrown into the arms of Mother Earth. What virtue do I have to be able to provoke such a big shot? This was the last thought of the knight before he fainted. Not bad. Feeling the power of his rune hand, Tucker nodded with satisfaction. Rune hand is the name Tucker gave to the third hand that he condensed after realizing rune, spiritual hand. The rune hand is equivalent to Tucker's arm. However, this hand is invisible and perfectly restrains its breath. In terms of position, it can move freely within a 10-meter range of Tucker, and its speed is about the same as Tucker's arm swinging when walking. When the power bursts out, it is also a real punch. It is an arm that is quite good at stealing, sneaking, and sneaking. From the name of third hand, we can see how this third hand is used. When Tucker casts the real rune, spiritual hand rune witchcraft spell, the rune hand will draw power from the spirit world and show the powerful characteristics of the rune, spiritual hand. It is like a mysterious palm walking in the spirit world driven by runes. Tucker has tried it, and the spiritual hand can crush the iron coupling source wall. It is a complete home demolition expert. Tucker's power itself is not weak. In addition, this time Tucker transformed into a Steam Wizard. This punch was absolutely hypnotic. Rune hand, after searching the opponent's body, Tucker got 15 magic golds and 6 silver dragons. After sighing that Black River Valley and Lamore had the same warm and hospitable customs, Tucker took the long sword on his back without hesitation. While searching the knight's body, Tucker had some new ideas for the rune hand. For example, using the length of the rune hand, he can lick the bag safely at medium and long range. He can also learn some burst skills of fighting power, specializing in the casserole-sized fists that blast the enemy. Every time he learns a new wizard method, Tucker feels that there is a huge room for development. This makes Tucker have to sigh again at the magic of the extraordinary wizard world. When Tucker returned to the tavern with a long sword on his back, many extraordinary people who originally wanted to see the joke suddenly became terrified. Shit. That guy actually came back. I wonder if Wade is still alive. That guy dared to come back with a long sword on his back. SSS, what a tough guy. This time Tucker took out another silver dragon and placed it in front of the young bartender. Go east at the intersection, number 56, but the old guy has a bad temper. The young bartender said it very straightforwardly, saving Tucker a lot of words. Thank you. Tucker nodded gently, maintaining the courtesy that a stranger should have. Chapter 111 Dwarf, Troll, Alchemist. The rain was pouring down, and the night was pitch black. Even assassins and thieves with night vision could hardly see the surrounding environment. On the muddy road, Tucker, who had entered the shadow state, floated half a meter above the ground and walked slowly with a nightmare lantern to push through the darkness and rain. Now that Tucker had gradually mastered the shadow state, he could float along the river, not to mention the muddy road. That is, as he gradually entered the shadow state, Tucker began to hear more and more whispers from the shadow dimension and some unclear strange roars and low sounds. Occasionally, the world would lose color at the edge of Tucker's vision, and then appear to be twisted and wriggling. When Tucker looked over, everything would return to normal. It seemed that the world he saw from the corner of his eye was just an illusion. The shadow dimension began to affect Tucker to a certain extent. Before long, shadow creatures would attack Tucker. After killing those shadow creatures, this kind of weird shadow corners will return to calm for a while. This is also the necessary price to master the Shadow Rune Ring Staff. This is much better than mastering the Dark Demon Rune Ring Staff. After all, the Demon Rune is really burning life. Moving forward, Tucker tried to maximize the shield of the wizard robe. Although this will reduce the defense ability, it can project the light of the lantern farther. Tucker held the lantern to light his own way. In addition, it was also a reminder to others. Otherwise, in the dark, alone, who knows what you are going to do? Not long after, Tucker stood at the location of number 56 east of the crossroads indicated by the bartender. This is an old townhouse with a backyard. From the traces of the twisted ash Gothic style on the eaves and roof, it can be seen that this place has suffered many baptisms of the ash tide. The sign of River Valley Alchemy Shop is also a bit old. There are some small words below. Our store sells and refines extraordinary weapons, promotion materials, promotion potions and other materials. The business scope is quite wide. Tucker muttered in a low voice. Generally speaking, alchemy shops will have a main business. Other businesses are also wholesale of some corresponding resources, which are placed in the counter. Unless the main business is booming, other businesses also need to be supplemented. Bang bang bang. Tucker knocked hard on the closed door. No one responded for a long time. Tucker's eyes condensed slightly, and his precise vision bloomed. The dark storefront was a little messy. It was obvious that someone had searched it. This ran away. Tucker originally planned to find an alchemist here and use the other party's alchemy tools to refine the leader-level materials in his hands, so that he could complete the advancement within this Green Knight cycle. The hope that he had just inquired in the tavern has now been shattered. Well, someone has already bought it for free anyway. I'll go in and take a look. If there's a large source energy steam engine device, it won't be your loss to use it. He took a step and phase travel was activated. When he stepped down, Tucker had already entered the store. Squeak. Several small rats in the corner were frightened by Tucker's light and hurriedly fled. Under the eaves of the backyard, several river rock sparrows that were sheltering from the rain chirped. Tucker knocked on the lantern twice. The flames of the nightmare grease bombs quickly enlarged. The fiery red light quickly filled the entire small shop that could be illuminated. The steam talent, steam, original spiritual state, that was added to 1650% allowed Tucker to control this source energy to an extremely terrifying level. For those condensed witchcraft, Tucker can continue to deliver source energy to the witchcraft that has already condensed into shape to make it stronger. It can also draw out source energy, shrink it, and then eliminate it. And the recovered source energy can be reused. Normally, the source energy released is like water that has been poured out, and it cannot be taken back. This is common sense. However, the SSS level, steam, original spiritual state, that Tucker raised to 1650% does not quite conform to this common sense. With the help of the firelight and the interweaving of the surrounding veins, Tucker carefully explored every corner of this small shop. However, Tucker did not find the source energy steam engine, furnace crucible and other alchemical equipment he wanted. However, Tucker made other discoveries. Squeak. Tucker pushed open the door to the backyard. There were walls on both sides, and behind it was a utility room for storing miscellaneous items in a half-resting residence. But people had searched there. Even the miscellaneous items were thrown into the courtyard and were being washed by the heavy rain. After thinking for a moment, Tucker looked at the ordinary-looking coniferous tree in the courtyard and spoke slowly. Respected alchemist, for some reason, I need a flame with leader-level characteristics to refine items. Of course, if you have a flame with dragon breath characteristics, that would be even better. I wonder if you can provide it here, alchemist. The heavy rain was still pouring down, and there was no response from the magical alchemy hut on the coniferous tree. I know that alchemist is in the alchemy hut in the small tree. I hope you can give me a response if I can refine it. As soon as Tucker finished speaking, he could vaguely smell steel and gunpowder, as well as the breath of danger. Tucker immediately moved away from the place like a shadow. The next moment, a shadow that was not tall enough but wide enough rushed out angrily from the tree trunk that was only a little thicker than Tucker's arm. In his hand, he was holding a short-barreled steam shotgun of amazing caliber. Boom! The huge roar drowned Tucker's hearing and drove away the sound of rain. At the same time, the bullets from the shotgun flooded the door behind where Tucker was just now. The old door was immediately blocked and flew far away. The steam shotgun was incredibly powerful. Along with the rising steam and gray mist, the short and sturdy figure roared angrily. Damn bastard, aren't you thinking about my dragon scales? Take a shot from your Uncle Baggins. When you taste the bullet blasting your dog head, you will know that your Uncle Baggins is not easy to mess with. When Tucker walked into the shadow corner and saw that the alchemist was actually an angry and irritable dwarf, and then connected it with the content of the bartender's explanation just now, Tucker couldn't help but curse damn shameless loco. It was such important new information about the dwarf, but that guy didn't tell him. However, Tucker got some information unexpectedly. Dragon scales? This dwarf alchemist actually has dragon scales. No wonder this guy exploded at the slightest touch, he actually had such a good thing in his hand. It seems that he just mentioned the dragon's breath. Could it be that this stimulated the other party? Tucker glanced at the not-so-thick tree trunk. There was a nearly perfect magic alchemy hut hidden there. If it weren't for his own original spiritual state that could deeply perceive everything around him, and his accurate vision that could see through the surrounding veins, it would be really difficult to find this magical alchemy hut. Those who can have such skills are definitely expert alchemists. It is also a rare existence in the St. Lander city-state. I don't know how many levels higher than the half-baked apprentice alchemist like Tanaru. At this time, the dwarf alchemist holding a short-barreled large-caliber steam shotgun walked towards the position of the door panel that had just been blown away. Obviously, he believed in his marksmanship, or in other words, he believed in the powerful spray gun in his hand. Tucker considered whether to turn the other party into sheep to let him calm down. But after thinking about it, Tucker shook his head. Although, my sheep transfiguration skill can transform this third-level dwarf alchemist into a sheep within a certain period of time. That will only make the third-level dwarf alchemist's anger double. At that time, let alone learning alchemy knowledge and ability from him, even the possibility of asking him for help will be zero. I have no ill intentions. Tucker in the corner tried to calm his tone as much as possible. However, what responded to Tucker was the roar of the powerful spray gun that turned the gun and aimed at Tucker. Chapter 112 The Magical Alchemy Hut. Boom. 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 Shot after shot. If the border town of Black River Valley was not shrouded by the drifting rainstorm at this time, the sound would have been washed away by the rainstorm. I'm afraid the gunshots would have been noticed by people long ago. After more than a dozen shots, the angry dwarf alchemist loaded the steam bullets again, raised the steam shotgun, and aimed at Tucker. This time he just aimed and didn't shoot. The anger gradually faded, and reason began to occupy his brain again. While he was loading bullets, the wizard didn't attack him. He had already felt something unusual. This guy, it seems, is not an enemy. Who are you? The dwarf alchemist asked in a low voice. Just now I said, I am a guest who came to seek the help of the alchemist. I have no ill intentions. Tucker didn't dare to mention words like dragon breath and dragon scales to avoid irritating the dwarf alchemist who is good at anger. There is no alchemist here. The dwarf alchemist said with a grunt. You are not welcome here either. Tucker looked at the dwarf alchemist whose beard almost touched his knees, and shrugged his shoulders. Okay then. I will come again tomorrow. I wonder if the alchemist here will be here by then. After saying that, Tucker walked out. Anyway, this guy's magical alchemy hut is here. And now it is the rainy season of the gray night period, and the road outside is extremely difficult to walk. It seems that someone still cares about him, otherwise the shop would not be searched by someone. This dwarf alchemist is not in the combat sequence and does not have many means of self-protection. He can't run away. When Tucker just crossed the door frame that was broken by the dwarf alchemist before. Are you a wizard? The voice of the dwarf came. Tucker turned around and spread his hands. Obviously. What level are you? The dwarf looked Tucker up and down and gradually put down the steam shotgun. Level 19. Tucker said truthfully. Damn, you're only level 19, you're too weak. The dwarf muttered in a low voice. If you can help me, I can advance quickly and level up to level 25 or above, and my witchcraft can also be upgraded quickly. I've been stuck at level 19 for a long time, and I've accumulated a lot of source energy experience. Level 25. The dwarf pondered. Obviously, in his opinion, the level and strength are obviously linearly proportional. Level 25, although it's still very weak, but... The dwarf alchemist, with a pair of eyes wrapped in thick brow bones and eyebrows, looked up and down at Tucker for a long time. You don't look too weak. Moreover, you actually have the power of 2 rune rings. Generally, it's difficult for a transcendent of your level to master the power of 2 rune rings. What's more, one of the rings is a shadow ring. Although he has a hot temper, this dwarf alchemist's vision is still quite vicious. Human wizard, if you are willing, we can reach an agreement. I can help you refine the items you need. But at the end of the next gray date, you must protect my safety. Tucker's previous powerful evasion ability seemed to have a certain deterrent effect. The dwarf alchemist could not restrict Tucker, and seemed to be afraid that Tucker would go out and reveal the secret of his hiding here before the end of the next gray date. Tucker thought secretly, and then looked at the dwarf alchemist. Are you going to leave here at the next gray date? Yes, I'm going back to Saint Land. The dwarf alchemist whispered, although this whisper was still loud. Back to Saint Land? Aren't you the alchemist of this shop? Tucker was startled, and then asked. Damn, This is the shop of one of my apprentices, and he died in the last adventure. I was hiding here from my enemies, but you found me." The dwarf alchemist said dissatisfiedly. This amount of information is a bit too much?" Tucker took a deep breath. "I say, how come there is a third-level alchemy expert with a magical alchemy hut in this small town on the border of the Black River Valley? That bartender, it seems that he didn't mention the dwarf alchemist because, wait?" Tucker thought for a moment and then asked, "Is your apprentice here a dwarf?" "Of course a dwarf's apprentice is a dwarf, human wizard, you have too many questions. Are you willing to complete the transaction?" the dwarf said a little irritably. Tucker nodded and said, "I am very happy to complete the transaction with Mr. Alchemist. But, don't you ask what I need to forge. With your level as a wizard, I can forge whatever you get," the dwarf alchemist said confidently. As he said that, the dwarf alchemist walked towards the not-so-thick tree trunk, with one hand on it, chanting a magical spell in her low voice. Not long after, a door framed like a curtain was opened by the dwarf alchemist. "Go in." Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, and after examining for a moment, he made sure there was no danger, and then he walked over. If this third-level alchemist wanted to use the imprisonment characteristics of this magical alchemy hut that was not even a layer dimension to trap Tucker, then Tucker could only reluctantly accept the entire legacy of this third-level alchemist expert. However, this dwarf alchemist has the usual temperament of dwarves. He has a bad temper, but at least he is honest and trustworthy. "Damn, how did you find my magic alchemy hut?" "You know, this magical hut cost me most of my savings to build it." After entering the alchemy hut, the dwarf alchemist asked loudly while searching for things on the thick wooden shelves. "Maybe my perception ability is better," Tucker responded vaguely. At the same time, Tucker was also looking at the magical hut in front of him. Compact was Tucker's first feeling. Thick storage racks were placed on three sides, on which were piled various blueprints, scrolls, storage boxes, and some extraordinary storage bracelets. "I wonder if this alchemist has a large capacity extraordinary storage bracelet." When seeing those storage bracelets, Tucker's heart moved slightly. "I can ask later." The space between the racks was barely enough for two people to walk side by side. On the left and right sides of the wall facing the entrance, there was a small wooden door, which should be the living room and alchemy secret room of the alchemist. As a movable magic alchemy hut, it was expensive. It was already very good to have such a large space. At this time, the dwarf alchemist seemed to have found his own things. It was a bloody scroll. Just a glance, Tucker's nose smelled the smell of blood, and a little bit of the smell of the devil. The walker and wizard before, they both turned this place upside down, but they didn't find this magical alchemy hut. You should know that they are all powerful extraordinary people of more than level 30. Human wizard, those two extraordinary people are the opponents you may face next, and they even have helpers. If you are afraid, it doesn't matter if you leave now. If you are not afraid, then sign this contract. I will complete it for you." The dwarf alchemist glanced at Tucker. 5 copies. Tucker said straightforwardly. "I will complete the forging of 5 materials and items for you." The dwarf alchemist said carefully. "Can I take a look at this contract witnessed by the devil?" Tucker made a polite gesture. "No problem." The dwarf alchemist directly spread out the contract scroll witnessed by the devil's power. Bloody words emerged. Tucker browsed through it step by step. While examining the words, Tucker also had a deep understanding of the essential power of this contract. The power of the contract devil was used as a medium to establish the blood hub and then build a balanced scale. The soul from the bloodline serves as a trigger. Once someone makes a decision to break a promise, the demon curse will fall. Verbal promises are far less real than the constraints of such a demon contract. And this kind of strongly binding contract is often the witness and beginning of friendly cooperation. Tucker nodded after a moment. A very fair agreement. As the dwarf alchemist officially activated the demon contract scroll, the two of them dripped blood into the scroll respectively. A black halo bloomed from the demon contract scroll and permeated the two. The contract was officially reached. If possible, Tucker would never drip his blood in front of the demon. But when Tucker's skills can use precision, correction to cut off the veins, and can use steam, origin spiritual state to adjust the veins, Tucker also doesn't mind using this method to reach an agreement. Yes, Tucker's steam, origin spiritual state can more effectively adjust the connection between himself and the world than precision, correction. If precision, Correction is a surgical knife-like precision retail. Then, steam origin spiritual state is a large-scale wholesale. But soon, the angry and violent roar of the alchemy expert Bacon's Thor was heard in the magical alchemy hut. Is this the material you mentioned? This is a quasi-lord level material. This contract is not fair at all. Chapter 113 Refining Promotion Materials. In fact, it's quite fair. Tucker said calmly to the dwarf alchemist who regarded anger and irritability as normal. After all, as a level 19, I have to face two powerful supernatural beings of more than 30 levels, and they obviously have helpers. You, just spend more time and materials, but my life will be in danger. Tucker's words finally calmed the dwarf alchemist down. In fact, this dwarf alchemist was able to calmly complete the transaction with Tucker when he was in a dangerous environment. He also used the contract to restrain Tucker, not to leak the news, and was able to win over Tucker to protect her safety. He obviously has a lot of experience in walking in the supernatural world. If you really think that the other party has no brains because of his anger and irritability, then I am afraid that I will suffer. In addition, I also hope that when you are doing alchemy, I will watch from the side. Tucker made his own small request. No problem, but you are not allowed to disturb me, otherwise, the materials will be scrapped and you will be responsible for it. The dwarf alchemist looked at Tucker for a moment before saying, no problem. Tucker nodded. When the other party took out 2 second-level leader-level materials and 1 second-level quasi-lord-level material. Although the dwarf alchemist was very irritable, he had already calmed down in his heart. At least, these materials can prove that this human wizard really came to seek help from the alchemist. And it can also prove that this human is indeed very powerful. Ordinary people can't get so many leader-level materials. Human wizard, I don't know your name yet. Opening the door frame of the alchemy chamber on the right and walking inside, the dwarf alchemist Baskin Thor asked, Taniru Lamor. Tucker responded, Lamor. Baggins raised his thick eyebrows. Are you a survivor of Lamor? Yes. Tucker nodded. Lamor's a good place. I went there a few years ago. The crypt people there tried to rob me, but I killed them one by one with my howling. Howling. Tucker raised his eyebrows. That's it. Baggins patted the steam shotgun hanging on his body. This is a third-level steam shotgun made of extraordinary materials. Just in the last adventure, I used my third-level steam shotgun to smash the head of a second-level wizard. That guy thought his shield could block my steam shotgun. Little did he know that among those shotgun pellets, there are shield-breaking pellets that I specially refined, which can effectively break the shield. Well, in order to effectively contain the caster, some metals that contain the source energy guide have also been added to the pellets. Oh, by the way, there are also pellets that quickly release poison after touching blood. Those wizards always think that they can block attacks by relying on shields. Little did he know that the power he relied on would become the talisman of his death. The dwarf alchemist Baggins Thor proudly promoted his achievements. As dwarf alchemists, their source energy response is not as good as that of humans, and their means of combat are not strong. Being able to kill a second-level wizard is already very powerful and a record worth bragging about. Tucker, who was listening to the other party's story, twitched his eyes slightly. Just now, Tucker felt that the steam bullets of the other party's steam shotgun were a little strange. Now it seems that this third-level alchemy expert is not ordinary. The alchemy secret room in front of him is slightly larger than the storage room just now. At the same time, the barriers of this magical alchemy hut have also been strengthened. Buzz! As Baggins started the source energy steam engine, a slight roar came. As a professional magic alchemy hut, its concealment is still unquestionable. Even if there is an explosion inside, it will not be noticed outside. Unlike Tucker's old and obsolete source energy steam engine. This blue source energy steam engine is obviously of higher specifications. The source energy is ejected faster and more violently. The conversion efficiency is also very high, and the overall operation is very smooth. The flame that is finally transmitted contains a lot of extraordinary flame characteristics. Its flame also showed a brilliant starry blue. Thanks to the diffusion of the extraordinary flame characteristics, Tucker could vaguely see some blue textures of the flame bird. The flame of the blue crystal flamebird? And it seems to be a leader-level flame. Tucker raised his eyebrows slightly. You really have studied alchemy. Baggins, who was doing the preparations, looked up at Tucker. Not much, just a little. Tucker was telling the truth. 2 leader materials and 1 quasi-lord material will take a lot of time. After putting the furnace crucible in place and putting in the first material, Baggins put on an alchemy jacket with source shield protection. Then he said to Tucker, "I will refine it as soon as possible so that you can be promoted as soon as possible. But, no matter how it is refined, these materials will always retain some harmful properties, and may even be lethal. Leader-level materials, or even Lord-level materials, cannot be digested casually. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many extraordinary people dying every year due to promotion. Although I would advise you not to work so hard, I guess you definitely won't agree." The dwarf alchemist is still a smart person after all. Tucker, who was standing aside, smiled and said nothing. "Isn't this the reason why I asked to watch from the sidelines? Tucker can actively remove harmful substances in the dissolved materials, and even eliminate the remaining will. Letting Baggins help refine the materials is just a cover. Letting the other party dissolve the materials is the right answer. Of course, if you can learn some alchemy knowledge from the other party during this period, it will also be extra money. Moreover, as an alchemy expert from St. Lander, Tucker can get more information about St. Lander from the other party. As Baggins' alchemy unfolds, one by one, the complex process, the meticulous control and adjustment of the flame, the addition of additional materials, extraction and other processes made Tucker admire them and silently memorize these complex processes. When the first batch of materials was almost refined and ready for annealing, Tucker began his own operation. Although Baggins' alchemy method did remove some harmful substances and even eliminated some of the leader's will, but it only eliminated a part of the obvious harmful characteristics. And those hidden harmful parts were basically not eliminated, not to mention the deeply hidden leader's will. The height of the process is ultimately not as high as the upper limit of Tucker's SSS-level extraordinary talent. Baggins can forge the magical alchemy hut, and he is even more capable of forging leader-level materials. At least he is an alchemy expert. But such a rare alchemist can only do this. Then, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Opening a shop specializing in material refining in St. Lander will undoubtedly have the potential to make money. After all, in the future, I will need a lot of magic gold to build my own magical hut, magical airship, create more powerful rune rings and rune robes, buy forbidden spells, and even buy extremely rare but destructive, forbidden seals. Without money, you can't become a powerful wizard in the extraordinary world. Thinking. Tucker followed the source energy steam, and Tucker's tactile perception bloomed, and precision correction began its own performance. Those hidden harmful characteristics and latent leaders were all cleared by Tucker one by one. If it was solidified, these things would be completely anchored in it and could not be cleaned up at all. But now it is in a dissolved state under the state of extraordinary characteristic flames. After being pulled out, it melted directly on the spot. Tucker had already used tactile perception to find out the harmful characteristics, leader's will, and those invisible and weird characteristics that are destructive to the extraordinary ecology in these materials. Now it is naturally easy to pull out. With the annealing completed, when Baggins took the soul crystal of the spirit ear leader and observed it carefully, he found that this recondensed leader-level extraordinary crystal was exceptionally clear and bright. There were obviously a lot of impurities in it just now. How come the effect is so good after annealing? How strange. Baggins couldn't help but take out the crystal magnifying perspective prism and observed it carefully. But he couldn't see the reason for a long time. Maybe my craftsmanship has improved recently. This is a good start. Baggins happily handed this leader-level soul crystal to Tucker. After a moment of touch perception, Tucker nodded slightly. Under his touch perception and precise correction, the refining result of this material is almost perfect. The progress of promotion to the second stage is completed by 1/3, and there are still 2/3 left. After a short rest, Baggins was about to start refining the second batch of materials. "Baggins, don't refine it yet." Tucker suddenly spoke at this time. "Just now, the sound of your gunfire seemed to have attracted some people." "What?" Baggins, who was about to put in the materials, felt a slight tremor in his heart, and he subconsciously twisted his howl. Chapter 114 The Terrifying Steam Wizard. 5 extraordinary people. One is level 3, and the level is at least above level 35. The levels of the other 4 are all above level 25. Damn, this is a team of extraordinary people. Through the projection window of the magical alchemy hut, Baggins saw the sneaking intruder outside, and his anger value began to rise. Obviously, he saw Tucker in this way just now. Tucker clearly saw the level of the members of the extraordinary team outside and their extraordinary sequence through phase precision vision. After examining for a moment, Tucker glanced at Baggins from the corner of his eye. This team of extraordinary people does not quite match the two level 3 extraordinary people, Baggins said. Obviously, Baggins is hiding something. What did this guy do to provoke so many people to surround him? Is it because of the dragon scale? Just a simple dragon scale would not be enough to send a team here. The more Tucker thought about it, the more he felt that this matter was obviously not as simple as it seemed on the surface. Baggins finished reloading the bullets and picked up his whale. He looked as if he would rush out and fight as soon as the enemy found him. Baggins. Tucker, who had withdrawn his gaze from the outside, looked at Baggins. What? Since we have signed a contract, I am obliged to fulfill my bodyguard duties. There are 5 of them, and each of them is higher than you. Compared with the 19th level wizard in front of him, he obviously trusts the guy in his hand more. Tucker just said lightly. You, just watch it. As Tucker chanted this spell in a low voice. Woo. The roar of steam was slightly stirred. Source energy steam continued to flow out from Tucker's ears and nostrils. Tucker's level was not high enough, and he had no way to completely absorb the steam anomaly. When his level was raised, he could naturally collect it. The power of the rune spirit hand began to gather. Tucker's rune hand, which had previously been used to perceive through the touch of spirits and secretly read and absorbed the many alchemy books, manuscripts, and drawings from the alchemist Baggins, was also retracted at this time. The power of the spirit world descended quickly and condensed on the rune hand. The powerful spirit hand began to show its true appearance, with a dark golden rune outline as the keynote. In the purple energy veins, high-intensity source energy steam flowed. Inside, there was a framework for the condensation of the power of the spirit world. As the spirit hand officially condensed, the huge and terrifying 3-star rune spell rune spiritual hand that was like a double opening door panel was officially formed. At this time, Baggins, who was watching this scene from the side, also stared at his not-so-big eyes. The whole person couldn't help but rub and. Steam wizard, this guy is a steam wizard. And, he also, has mastered powerful rune-level spells. You know, mid-level transcendents who can master the mysteries of runes are already geniuses. This guy is only level 19. Damn, is this guy a super genius of Saintland? Before, he thought Tucker was just a more flexible wizard. That's why he was able to dodge his shooting. Now it seems that when he fired just now, if this steam wizard had a little bit of anger, he would have been a corpse now. Feeling the huge rune palm that could easily crush him to death, Baggins' legs were shaking violently. Looking at the successfully condensed rune spirit hand, Tucker let out a light breath. Fortunately, there is the cover of the magical alchemy hut, otherwise the time it takes to condense this hand of spiritual movement would be enough for me to die several times. This kind of powerful spell encounter will definitely not be used, but this kind of stable confrontation with plenty of time is a surefire weapon to kill the enemy. Tucker's eyes were slightly focused and he had already manipulated the hand of spiritual movement. Rune, hand of spiritual movement. The reason why it is called the hand of spiritual movement is that after comprehending the soul rune to a relatively high level, this palm can be used to walk in the spirit world. Walking in the spirit world is more sophisticated than hiding and stealth, and is also better at sneak attacks. Walking in the spirit world, phase travel. The moment the hand of spiritual movement escaped into the spirit world, Tucker directly used a phase travel to let the hand of spiritual movement leave the spirit world layer of the magical hut and come to the spirit world layer outside. Immediately, the hand of spiritual movement suddenly pinched downwards and left the spirit world layer. The huge palm instantly enveloped the leader of this team, the extraordinary warrior with a level of up to level 36. The extraordinary warrior, whose perception ability was not strong, only felt a gust of cold wind coming, and the next moment a huge palm directly grasped him tightly in its hand. Roar! The extraordinary warrior reacted quickly, and a war roar shook the momentum. War roar! The extraordinary warrior instantly released a powerful combat skill, which could shake off control methods. In the past, war roar could shake off many control methods. But this time, the roar could not be raised. The huge palm directly crushed the war roar and grabbed the extraordinary warrior in its palm. Hurry up and save me. The extraordinary warrior, who suddenly felt something was wrong, immediately bared his teeth and roared. Bang! The dull sound of flesh and blood breaking through the rain curtain. It hit the hearts of the other 4 members of the team fiercely. In the interlaced firelight, the other four focused their eyes on the captain who had just cried for help. But they saw the captain being crushed in the huge palm. Blood and flesh mud flowed out from the gap of the terrifying, cruel, and bloody palm. The extremely cruel killing, intense sensory stimulation, and the smell of scarlet blood made the four people's fear soar to the extreme at this moment. Fight? The level 36 captain, who was barely suppressed by the four of them together, was instantly crushed to death by the opponent. They fought without even seeing the opponent's figure? No, that's called committing suicide. Escape. The four people made the most correct decision almost in an instant. Jump. The scout suddenly lowered his body, and the jumping skill accumulated power as his body lowered. Then, his body suddenly soared up, wanting to jump over the roof and escape from this place. However, he had just jumped 2 meters high. The purple gold terrifying palm that had just crushed the captain under the eave 7 or 8 meters away appeared directly above his head and slapped him hard. No. Accompanied by the scout's shrill roar. Bang! The scout was slapped hard on the ground by the spiritual hand. The next moment, the spiritual hand disappeared again. And the scout on the ground showed a nearly two-dimensional form. The water in the courtyard that was pushed away by the hand quickly gathered and splashed back, easily drowning the two-dimensional assassin. I surrender. Seeing that the hand disappeared again, the slowest runner in the team, who had already started to act as the front row, instantly turned into a smart guy, raised his hands above his head, and begged for mercy loudly, showing that he was flexible. Tucker, who wanted to pinch the ranger to death, heard the other parties begging for mercy, and the hand appeared behind him. The action of pinching was stopped. At this time, the other two people in the team, a witch and a knight. The witch activated the scroll of travel and ran away. The knight was even more straightforward. A knight charged, smashed the door of the alchemy shop with a clang, and rushed into the rain. Even the sound of the knight drowned in the rain could be heard faintly. Hold on. Go, move. Move for help. Tucker's eyes condensed slightly, revealing a cruel and bloody smile. I'm not going to let you go. It's still a little difficult to kill 5 people instantly when you're fighting 1 against 5, but if we chase them slowly, none of them will be able to escape. Tucker took a step forward, phased walking, and went straight outside. Sheep transformation. The 28th level ranger was transformed into a sheep by Tucker. Immediately, Tucker entered the shadow state, added micro hurricane to himself, and then Tucker quickly chased out. After Tucker left, the trembling dwarf alchemist Baggins squeezed out of the doorframe of the magical alchemy hut. He glanced at the huge hand that was left in place. He took a deep breath, and his eyes gradually swept over the 3rd level warrior whose armor was deformed by being pinched, and the 2nd level scout who was slapped to death. There was also the ranger who was transformed into a sheep and trembled more than himself. What a terrifying guy. Baggins sighed from the bottom of his heart. He's only level 19. Glancing at the broken door frame, Baggins began to clean up the remains of the corpses. Anyway, he couldn't stay here any longer, so he helped the human wizard named Tanner to pack up the valuable things so that he could leave quickly. Chapter 115, Dark Sun Pollution in the Black River Valley. Outside the town by the river valley. With a heavy rain, the water in the river valley has become more and more turbulent. By the river, the witch lying on the ground had a pale face and fear in her eyes. She had already fled far away, but was still caught up by the other party. At this time, her heart had been pierced by Tucker's light-shaping spear, and one of her arms had been broken. Forgive me. I am willing to do anything for you, anything. The witch pulled open her robe with force, revealing her snow-white and plump body, letting the rain wash away, trying to use her last bit of value to exchange for a chance to live. Bang! The witch trembled slightly, and her head with a better face was directly shot through by Tucker. The expressionless Tucker used the first rune hand to grope her body and searched for valuable things. The rune hand dragged the body into the turbulent river. The river quickly submerged it. After doing all this, Tucker looked around and confirmed that no one was secretly spying, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. The fleeing witch and knight had all been dealt with. Thanks to the cover of the heavy rain, no one noticed Tucker's pursuit. Perhaps someone noticed it, but as long as they were smart enough, they would pretend not to see anything. After chanting the spell, a dragon source scale shield was released again to replace the previous shield, whose strength had been reduced by the witch. Tucker stretched the shield to its maximum, then took out the lantern and put in the nightmare wick. The light pushed away the darkness, and Tucker followed the muddy path and slowly floated towards the location of the town on the edge of the valley. While moving forward, Tucker summarized the results of this battle. There had been no fighting for half a year. The intensity of this battle was not high. So Tucker stretched the battle line as long as possible, so that he could gain more practical experience and spell release effects. Needless to say, the power of Rune, Hand of Spirit Walking, is very powerful. Strong extraordinary warriors of the third stage physique, and even warriors with the power of Dark Sun, were all crushed by me. But the flexibility of the Hand of Spirit Walking itself is not very high. After all, with a huge outline like 2 door panels, I really can't move it too fast with my current level of controllability. Even if it escapes into the spirit world and walks, the speed and flexibility don't change much. But once it is combined with phase walking, it will be completely different. Phase travel can give it the ability to cross spatial distances, and the flexibility is directly maximized. Walking in the spirit world allows it to be concealed before attacking. The combination of the two presents a hidden attack like teleportation. The combination of extraordinary magical powers and 3-star rune witchcraft can be said to be my strongest means of witchcraft linkage now. In addition, after completing the deep understanding of the mystery of the wind rune, hurricane holding also increased my speed a lot. The ability to chase and escape has been greatly improved. Of course. Tucker took a deep breath. The most important thing is the steam sequence. Now I am completely a hexagonal wizard. Especially the essence of wizards, souls, source energy, witchcraft, etc., are completely outrageous under the blessing of the steam sequence. Now, ordinary witchcraft is also extremely lethal in my hands. Silently summarizing the experience gained from this battle, Tucker soon disappeared in the depths of the rain curtain. Under the eaves. Hearing the movement, the dwarf Baggins immediately turned the muzzle of his gun and aimed over. But when he saw that it was Tucker, he put the muzzle down awkwardly. Baggins now has no longer the irritable state before. Baggins has completed the aftermath of the corpses in the courtyard. The bodies of the extraordinary people have been dealt with, and the things on them have been collected by Baggins. The degree of deformation of the third-level extraordinary armor made Baggins, as an alchemist, feel dizzy. If he was hit by this level of attack, he would either die or be injured. These are their extraordinary equipment and weapons. Baggins pointed to a pile of things that were obviously twisted and deformed. The rune spell you cast just now was too powerful. Their equipment was seriously damaged, but they can still be sold at a good price after repairing it. Also, these are the 3 of their extraordinary storage bracelets. Baggins handed the extraordinary storage bracelet to Tucker. I didn't touch the things inside. Baggins added at the end. After taking the storage bracelet, Tucker thought about it for a while before asking, "Can you forge a larger extraordinary storage bracelet?" "No problem, no matter how many extraordinary storage bracelets you have, I can forge them together for you, and I can ensure that the internal space will not be too small." Baggins seemed to have found his effective use value and said quickly, "And I will forge it for you for free." Tucker raised his eyebrows at the free forging. Originally, Tucker planned to have 3 sets of promotion materials, plus the shadow ring staff and the extraordinary storage bracelet. It can be counted as 5 forging opportunities. Since the other party is willing to help forge for free, Tucker will naturally not refuse. This place is no longer suitable for hiding. Pull out your magic alchemy hut and move to another place. Tucker glanced at the ranger sheep tied to the side. I will interrogate this ranger here and then follow him. After Tucker arrived at the River Valley border town, he felt a lot of the breath of the Dark Sun. Obviously, the war between the Dark Sun Church and Saint Land has not only expanded but also penetrated into these border towns. Tucker naturally wants to understand this information as soon as possible. Soon, Baggins pulled out the magic alchemy hut on the form of a scroll. Carrying the heavy scroll of the magic alchemy hut, Baggins looked at Tucker first. "Can you find me?" "Yes." Tucker nodded very straightforwardly. Then Baggins turned his head and didn't know what he was thinking, and walked away quickly with heavy steps. Wait until Baggins left. Tucker stood there and pondered for a moment. Then he turned his head to look at the ranger who was turned into a sheep and spoke lightly. "You can talk now. From now on, tell me everything you know about why you are hunting down that alchemist. Not being infected with the Dark Sun's faith is one of the reasons why I didn't kill you before. And next, honesty will be the key to whether you survive. Are you sure they all believe in the Dark Sun?" Ranger Sheep's eyes widened instantly, looking unbelievable. Tucker nodded silently. Yes, your captain, the third-level extraordinary warrior, is the most infected, and even his level has been raised to the third level to a certain extent by the power of the Dark Sun. Your other 3 teammates have also obtained the gift of the Dark Sun to a certain extent by sacrificing their souls and beliefs. I guess, when the witch was having fun with you in bed, she must have told you about the benefits of believing in the Dark Sun, right? Tucker's words made Ranger Sheep stunned for a moment, unable to speak. What the wizard in front of him said was indeed correct. He did have several pleasures with a witch in the team, and every time, the other party would explain to him the benefits of believing in the Dark Sun. But as a staunch believer of the vegetarian sect, he would not change his beliefs. In fact, the witch has absorbed a lot of energy from you through the characteristics of joy. Tucker explained lightly. You have absorbed less energy, and your other 3 teammates have absorbed more energy. In addition, Tucker paused. Her witch ecological energy is quite messy. That means her energy sources are from many channels. After becoming a sheep, the brain's thinking speed has slowed down a lot. Tucker's words directly caused Ranger Sheep's brain to crash. It took a long time for Ranger Sheep to recover. Anger was about to burst out of his eyes. Damn bitch, I should have guessed it long ago, and she told me about retreat. Bullshit retreat, she just ran away secretly. I'm going to kill her. Ranger Sheep was furious. It's not necessary to kill her, Tucker said lightly. After all, I've killed her. If you swim fast enough, you can catch up with her corpse. Swim fast enough? Tucker's words instantly calmed Ranger Sheep down. The premise of anger is that he has to survive. Otherwise, his anger is meaningless. I'll tell you everything. Ranger Sheep gritted his teeth and said angrily. An hour later, Ranger Sheep, who had revealed everything, stood by the turbulent river with Tucker. Don't come back again. Tucker was about to raise his foot to send him off. As a result, Ranger Sheep was very conscious and jumped down with a splash. His desire to survive was fully raised. After a while, his sheep head floated out of the water and swam quickly to the other side of the river. Tucker looked at it for a long time and said in a daze, so, he can swim. But soon, a black shadow pounced directly, biting the sheep and dragging it into the water. Soon, the sheep disappeared in the depths of Tucker's precise vision. The rainy season is here. There are a lot of crocodiles in the water. Tucker turned around and looked at the location of the Black River Valley city-state in the distance. The Black River Valley has been polluted by the Dark Sun. No, it should be said that there are many extraordinary people who have defected to the Dark Sun. After 6 months of development, the war has become more and more intense. Even, the top leaders of the Black River Valley may have defected to the Dark Sun Church. According to the explanation of the ranger, it is obvious that the dwarf alchemist Bagon's last round of adventure seemed to have participated in the cooperation plan between the Dark Sun and the Black River Valley. Black River Valley. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly and he took a deep breath. It needs a certain degree of purification. Although Tucker did not have enough strength to eliminate the Dark Sun power in the Black River Valley. But as Tucker completed his promotion, Tucker could make the Black River Valley pay a sufficient price. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. 320,000 Black Market Bounty. After a long detour, Baggins deliberately chose a remote corner. Baggins anchored his magical alchemy hut on the abandoned landmark stone pillar outside the town. At this time, in the magical alchemy hut, Baggins, who was looking out through the projection window, was a little nervous. He hoped that the terrifying human wizard could find him. Judging from the fact that the other party's level and strength were not proportional. As long as the other party was willing, Baggins believed that there would be no problem for him to return to St. Land safely. However, he did not want the human wizard to find him. Because that guy was from Lawmore. Everyone in St. Land knew that the Dark Sun Church destroyed Lawmore half a year ago. This guy who took Lawmore as part of his name obviously had an extraordinary relationship with Lawmore. And what he did happened to be related to the Dark Sun Church. What if the human wizard learned from the ranger that he was involved with the Dark Sun Church? I'm afraid. You seem to be a little worried. Baggins, who was thinking about the problem, was frightened by the sudden voice and jumped up. The howl in his hand almost went off. Damn it. But when he heard clearly that it was the voice of the human wizard, Baggins's rising anger was suppressed by him. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. If I really get angry, I will lose my life. Baggins warned himself frantically in his heart. Tucker exhaled lightly and said slowly, that ranger said everything that should and shouldn't be said. You work for the Dark Sun Church, right? Looking at the cold eyes of the human wizard in front of him examining him, Baggins, who felt his life was threatened, finally couldn't bear it anymore. He suddenly raised his steam shotgun, aimed at Tucker, and roared loudly. Yes, I work for the Dark Sun Church, but so what? I was deceived. Those damn bastards said there was an ancient treasure and wanted me to repair the exploration gate. If I completed the repair, I would get an extra reward. But after I got there, I realized that they asked me to repair the abandoned foreign gate. If I don't repair it, they will use a hammer to smash my head. I can only surrender. In the end, I escaped, but my apprentices are all dead. What do you want me to do? Are you going to use your laws of Lamore to sentence me to death for working for the Dark Sun Church? Tucker looked at Baggins for a moment before slowly speaking. You might as well speak slower and add some details. What do you mean? Baggins looked at Tucker, who still didn't stop his wailing. Tucker slowly pulled a chair from the side and sat down, keeping the same height as the dwarf alchemist. Some people are polluted by the Dark Sun only because their bodies and extraordinary ecology are polluted in the Dark Sun environment, but they resist the pollution of the Dark Sun. After leaving the Dark Sun area, it will gradually dissipate after a period of time. And some people are polluted, that is the pollution from the depths of their souls accepting the power of the Dark Sun, that is the belief of the mind and will. If you belong to the latter, you were already dead when I first saw you. I can't think of anything wrong with you being coerced by the Dark Sun to work for them in order to protect yourself. Tucker's words made the dwarf Baggins stunned. After a long while, he put down the steam shotgun. Sorry, I have a bad temper, mainly because it is too dangerous here. If I didn't like to prepare many means before taking risks, I'm afraid I would really be killed by the people of the Dark Sun Church this time. Sooner or later, I will use my wailing to smash the heads of a few more members of the Dark Sun Church. After mumbling and complaining, Baggins began to describe his series of experiences from being deceived from Saint Land to the deep caves in the mountains behind the Black River Valley. Although it was because of his greed. But as Tucker said, at least he didn't believe in the Dark Sun. They were watching us closely. Even if we didn't work hard, they would beat us to death on the spot. 2 of my apprentices were beaten to death in front of me. I can feel that group of beasts. They didn't intend to let us out alive at all. Fortunately, I used the beard hiding method to hide a very powerful teleportation scroll. When the progress reached a certain stage, we opened up the transfer station, and it turned out that there was a fallen dragon lord there. This incident attracted many strong people from the entire Black River Valley. As an expert in alchemy, I was also sent to do the transportation and other work. During a very ordinary break at work, I secretly teleported out with a few dragon scales. I thought I was doing it very secretly, but they still found me. They began to search for my location in this area. Then you found me hiding. After listening to the dwarf alchemist's story, Tucker couldn't help but sigh secretly. He was really a model of people who valued money over their lives. Even in such an environment, he still wanted to get dragon scales. In this case, Tucker just wanted to ask one question. How many dragon scales did you steal? What do you want to do? The dwarf alchemist looked at Tucker with a little vigilance. Nothing, I'm just curious. Tucker spread his hands. 3. What level of dragon was that? Level 5. Level 5 dragons are not that high. They must have escaped here because they were injured, and they couldn't save themselves, so they died in the end. Tucker said. Yes, that level 5 dragon, its abdomen was torn open, and the wound couldn't heal. You can see it from the traces left on the scales and skeleton. The loud-voiced Baggins confirmed Tucker's guess. Level 5, dragon bloodline, lord level. Even if a human level 7 superhuman runs slowly, he will be roasted on the spot. Such a powerful existence still died tragically in a remote and desolate place. There are still many terrifying existences in the supernatural world. Not to mention, there are those indescribable existences in the depths of the starry sky. Tucker sighed softly. Immediately, Tucker looked at Baggins. After the death of a level 5 dragon, even if the characteristics of the scales gather together, in the end, There should be a lot of scales, right? Yes. Baggins nodded. But those many scales will definitely be stored in the safest place in the Black River Valley Steam Tower. Yes. Tucker just nodded calmly, and no one could tell what he was thinking. Baggins wanted to say something else, but after thinking about it, he didn't say it out loud. You are only level 19 now. I'll continue to give you forging materials. After you advance to level 2, we will be safer. Baggins planned to continue to fulfill his contract, so that he could be more valuable. No problem, I was just thinking about this. Tucker nodded. We will indeed be safer if we advance earlier. He opened the small door to the alchemy chamber. Baggins started the source energy steam engine and put the crucible in place. Tucker also took out the second batch of leader-level materials. Are you really from Lawmore? Baggins asked while adjusting the instrument. Why are you asking this? I'm just curious. You are so powerful, and your extraordinary talent must be amazing. Why haven't I heard of your name before? Tucker raised his eyebrows. Have you heard of Lamore's Steam Knight Xyluar? Of course I have. Baggins raised his voice a few tones. A few months ago, in a fight between students of the St. Land Extraordinary Academy, the Steam Knight Xyluar pinned the Knight who is one level higher than him to the ground. Well, you know what, the Knight's head was really hard. He broke several pieces of reinforced marble slabs and refused to admit defeat. Tucker laughed when he heard this. Xyluar's temperament was indeed very arrogant. It was not surprising that he did such a thing. In addition to Xyluar, there is also a person named Lamore who is also very famous. I wonder if you have heard of him. Who? A guy named Tucker. Tucker. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Is this guy named Tucker very famous? Of course. Baggins smiled. That guy is a blasphemer. Even the guard dogs in the St. Land underground city know about this. It is said that in the St. Land black market, the bounty for the blasphemer named Tucker is as high as 320,000 magic gold. 320,000 magic gold? So high. Tucker was stunned. Yes, it's that high. Baggins nodded affirmatively. Many people are paying attention to Lawmore because of the high bounty for the blasphemer from Lawmore. So I'm very surprised. You are so powerful and you come from Lawmore, but why don't you have any reputation at all? Maybe it's because I haven't been to St. Land yet. Tucker said lightly. Well, it's possible. With your strength, you will definitely become famous soon after going to St. Land. Baggins smiled. While talking, Baggins soon immersed himself in the forging of leader-level materials. Tucker was thinking quietly on the side, waiting for the leader-level materials he was about to be promoted to. The water in the Black River Valley is very deep. In the border town of the Black River Valley alone, Tucker noticed that there were many undercurrents surging silently. Only by being promoted to the second level as soon as possible can Tucker swim in this undercurrent. Chapter 117 Promotion, Second Level Steam Wizard. In the magical alchemy hut, half a day later. Great God of the Forge and Craftsman, is this really the quasi-lord crystal that I can forge? If I can forge to this level every time, then I must be the most famous master in St. Lander. Oh. I really want this wonderful moment to stay a little longer. Using tweezers, he picked up the nearly perfect khaki-colored extraordinary crystal of the quasi-lord of the mountain giant bear. While waving his small hammer, the dwarf Baggins gave heartfelt praise and exclamation. I don't know whether you need to praise the god of the forge and craftsman, but what I know is that the harmful characteristics of this quasi-lord crystal and the will of the mountain giant bear are really difficult to pull out. Tucker on the side looked at Baggins, who was in excitement, and thought silently. If it weren't for my steam origin spiritual state that could strongly anchor those veins and pull them out. With just the means of precision correction, it would probably take a lot of time to completely resolve the will of taking away that big guy. After getting the most core supernatural crystal of the mountain giant bear leader, Tucker's materials for promotion to the second level steam wizard were completely complete. After handing a large number of supernatural storage bracelets in his hand to Baggins, Tucker quietly left the magical alchemy hut and disappeared in the depths of the rain curtain. Looking at the dozen supernatural storage bracelets left by Tucker, Baggins couldn't help but mutter. How many people did this guy kill to accumulate so many supernatural storage bracelets? It will take a lot of time for that guy to go out and advance. First, strike the iron while it's hot and find a feeling of forging the leader level crystal just now. Baggins immediately took out a third-level elite supernatural characteristic crystal and started a new round of alchemical forging. Soon, Bagon's angry and irritable roar came from the alchemy chamber. Damn, what a bunch of shit this is forging. As a steam sequence, there will inevitably be steam anomalies when promoted. This is one of the small side effects of a powerful sequence. If it is in the safe territory of the high tower, this will only be some insignificant problems. But, in the border town of the Black River Valley where the power of the Dark Sun is surging, this will become a very fatal problem. Fortunately, Tucker had already found a good location for himself before this. There are many river islands in the wide river valley of the Black River Valley. At this time, on a relatively wide rock river island, as Tucker unfolded the Great Barrier ritual spell, a large number of rocks came alive, and under the effect of the ritual power, they were quickly pulled out to form a small wizard tower with a height of 10 meters and a diameter of about 3 meters. The vein framework of the rock wizard tower is also very particular. The core framework structure is the silver holy wall, and the attached filler is the iron coupling source wall. This kind of interweaving and blending of compound forces is Tucker's own research on the use of barrier power. Although it is slightly weaker than the real silver holy wall, it is only about 80% of the real silver holy wall. But the mental consumption and source energy consumption are less than 1/10 of the entire silver holy wall structure. It highlights good quality and low price, economical and practical, and convenient and fast. Entering the small wizard tower, the heavy rain was completely isolated outside. After a careful inspection, confirming that there was no major problem with the combination of the iron coupling source wall and the silver holy wall. After taking out the wool blanket and laying it on the meditation seat, Tucker sat down steadily on the top floor of the wizard tower. Tucker began to count his promotion items. A large second-level wizard promotion potion. As a steam wizard, this promotion potion also needs to be increased in dosage. Soul material, second-level leader level, spirit deer soul crystal. Source energy material, second-level leader level, bloodthirsty wild bull source energy crystal. Life material, second-level quasi-lord level, mountain giant bear life crystal. This set of leader-level materials is luxurious. After about 100 breaths, he adjusted his state to the best. Tucker began to prepare the promotion potion. The soul crystal of the spirit deer was put in, and the blue soulite filled the potion glass. The originally slightly green potion liquid quickly turned into deep blue, and the spirit deer could be vaguely seen jumping lightly on the surface of the potion. The bloodthirsty wild bull energy crystal was put in, and the potion turned bloody again. Moo. The low cow mooing sound came in waves. When the mountain giant bear material was put in, the blood red gradually turned into thick black. Even the potion itself showed a hair state, and it was about to stretch out along the potion cup. Without waiting for these powerful characteristics to fight in the cup, Tucker drank the potion for the promotion to the second-level wizard in one gulp. The neighing of the spirit deer. The long cry of the bloodthirsty wild bull. The roar of the mountain giant bear. In an instant, it filled Tucker's mind. The outlines of the three powerful leaders now filled Tucker's steam wizard ecology. But they did not show any aggression. This was Tucker's intention for melting these three materials. To expel the negative and harmful characteristics of the materials and eliminate the will of the leaders. In this way, when absorbing and digesting, it would not be like fighting a life and death battle. Promotion. You must highlight stability. Otherwise, Tucker has waited for so long, and it would not be in vain. At this time, in Tucker's sequence ecology, the wizard tree that had previously presented an ordinary wooden form. At this time, it has become the steam wizard tree of the steam sequence. The steam wizard sequence tree presents the silver gray material color unique to life metal. Moreover, the entire steam wizard sequence tree is clearly filled with a sacred atmosphere. Tucker's steam core contains a very strong sacred light angel characteristic, although it has not been expressed externally. But on the steam wizard tree, this sacred light characteristic has been thoroughly integrated into Tucker's ecology and sequence. Sacred light is already a part of Tucker. At the bottom of the trunk of the steam wizard tree, deep inside the thick and developed root system, the tree heart furnace absorbs source energy and burns, and continuously blooms source energy flames, bringing source energy fire to the entire steam wizard tree. A distance above is the source energy steam engine presented by the steam sequence. Drawing source energy flames, the source energy steam engine pumps the source energy in Tucker's source pool, releasing source energy steam, which then permeates the entire steam wizard ecosystem. The entire steam wizard tree shows a more efficient source energy utilization in sequence compared to the original wizard tree. The steam ecology constructed by the rising steam source energy is also obviously stronger than the original more primitive wizard ecosystem. More importantly, the steam wizard ecology has a strong circulation ability. Draw source energy, burn source energy, and release source energy steam. And these source energies will soon settle down and be absorbed and utilized by the source pool again. Then enter the next round of circulation. This allows the steam wizard ecology to have the ability and characteristics of self-purification, self-adjustment, and self-recovery in the efficient circulation process. And this is also the most powerful part of the human world's construction of a great steam ecology today. Because this self-circulating, self-maintaining, self-correcting, and even self-expanding ecology can prove a very terrifying thing. That is, the steam sequence ecology itself is a powerful supernatural ecological world. An ecology that can be created by humans and can compete with the outside world. When the roar of steam sounded in this world, it was like the sound of gunfire in the ancient primitive jungle. The gunfire itself is not important, but the meaning behind it is too extraordinary. Woo! As Tucker gradually absorbed and digested the materials of the three leaders, the steam wizard tree grew rapidly. The flames of the tree heart furnace increased the firepower crazily. Woo! Woo! The source energy steam engine was also spraying steam source energy with all its strength. At this time, Tucker's steam wizard sequence tree emitted a metal friction sound unique to the growth of life metal. At this time, Tucker's body also expanded with a rise of steam source energy. Woohoo! The whistle sounded in Tucker's ears, nose, eyes, and mouth as the flags dissipated. It was like a steam train speeding by. The rain curtain separated the river island from the riverside town in the distance. Not long after the whistle left the island, it was washed away by the heavy rain. The rain curtain. It became Tucker's safe shelter. I don't know how long it took. The steam source energy finally stopped dissipating. The weird mechanical feeling gradually left his body. Tucker gradually regained the sense of self-control. Although he already knew that he had completed the advancement. But this did not delay Tucker from opening the attribute panel to add a little more joy. Superb sequence, Steam Wizard, level 20. Dark Sea of Origin, level 19. The level 20 came into view. Tucker smiled knowingly. Ordinary materials are promoted to the second level, which is the second level. Leader level materials are promoted to the second level, which is also the second level. But the gap between them is quite huge. Even though I am already a Steam Wizard, the changes brought to me by the three major leader materials this time are still amazing. In terms of strength, it has been improved by at least 5.6 times. In terms of life strength, it has been improved by about 4 times. Just the foundation of this mountain giant bear material can at least make me live 20 to 30 years longer. In terms of soul, although the improvement is weaker, it has also been improved by about 3.2 times. In fact, I can already feel my spiritual body. The advancement of the source energy pool itself, plus the additional blessing of the leader level materials. It has almost reached 4 times the previous level. It is almost catching up with a quarter of the size of the Origin Dark Sea. The foundation of the extraordinary wizard has been greatly improved compared to before. The improvement in comprehensive strength is also quite amazing. Not bad, not bad. In the wizard tower deep in the rain, Tucker carefully felt the all-round transformation inside and out this time, enjoying this long-lost joy. Chapter 118, All-Round Addition of Points. Superb Sequence, Steam, Wizard, Level 25. Dark Sea of Origin, Level 25. Superb Abilities, Phase Walker, 665 Fragments, Level 29. Superb Talents, Precision, Correction, SSS Level, 1050%. Steam, Origin Spiritual State, SSS Level, 1650%. Superb Witchcraft Ability, Sheep Transformation, Ability, Level 29. Touch Perception, Ability, Level 29. Rune, Hand of Spiritual Walking, 3 stars, Level 29. Rune, Hurricane Hold, 3 stars, Level 29. Spear of Shaping Light, 2 stars, Level 29. Arcane Shot, Level 29. Abyss, Bloodthirsty Demon Vine, Level 29. Dragon Origin Scaled Shield, Level 29. Nightmare Oil Bomb, Level 29. Micro, Hurricane, Level 29. It's fun to add points for a while, and it's fun to add points all the time. After the promotion was completed and the ecology was stabilized, Tucker was completely happy. Tucker had been hoarding energy experience for more than half a year. This time, he invested all of it in level, energy, magical power, and witchcraft ability. In terms of level, Tucker only increased it to level 25. With the increase in level, the evolution of the extraordinary wizard ecology is also a process that wizards need to perceive, absorb, digest, and summarize. Leaving some room for improvement will also give Tucker time to feel the changes in the Steam wizard ecology better and more deeply. However, after adding points like this, Tucker's remaining energy experience is not too much. But the daily ocean development of the original Dark Sea can still be maintained. For the sake of safety. After adding points, Tucker stayed in this river island for half a day. After carefully feeling that there was no problem with the Steam ecology, Tucker planned to leave. The power from the barrier world was removed. The rock wizard tower still stood here. Tucker chanted this spell, and soon, the 3-star rune spirit hand was condensed by Tucker. With a solid second order 25 level wizard foundation. This time, both the condensation speed and the control of the hand of spiritual movement have been greatly improved. In a few seconds, this small wizard tower was completely dismantled by Tucker. Even the wreckage, Tucker threw it directly into the river, leaving no trace. Then, Tucker held up the shield and floated towards the riverside town along the increasingly turbulent river. My strength has increased, and the rune hand has also become stronger. The perception and control of source energy has become more delicate. This kind of delicacy is not the kind of delicacy after precise blessing, but my own natural in-depth mastery of source energy after the level is increased. Carefully summarizing the changes in his own bits and pieces, Tucker soon disappeared in the depths of the river. Near the town. In the rain and the depths of darkness, the sound of fighting was faintly heard. Tucker just glanced from a distance and vaguely saw the figure of the demon hunter. Tucker shook his head and didn't bother to meddle. The power of the Dark Sun gradually enveloped the Dark Mantle province and even infiltrated Saint Land. The Principality of Celians has reported this kind of news many times in the Steam Daily. Tucker alone knows that many monster hunters have come to the northern border one after another, and there are even many foreign demon hunters. Before the rainy season came, when Tucker was still herding sheep in the river valley, he met demon hunters twice. The demon hunter asked Tucker for directions, and it was Old Blue who showed him the way. Landwaxen Tavern. This is where Tucker asked for news after selling sheep last time. But today, Tucker's timing was not right. There were not many extraordinary people who wanted to get drunk or drink to relieve their sorrows. There were only a few people. Several drunkards were sleeping soundly in the corner. I don't know how Old Blue and Irene are doing. Old Blue said that after this gray night period, he will take Irene to Saint Land. The savings over the years are enough for him to buy a house for retirement. Irene will also enter the interim class to learn some knowledge of supernatural studies. It's the shepherd sequence. It seems that there is not a good job in Saint Land. After all, Saint Land doesn't have enough pasture for them to herd sheep. Tucker sat at the bar while thinking. Remember me? Tucker slapped a silver dragon coin in front of the young bartender with a long face and short hair. Oh, damn. When the bartender saw the calm and natural face under the wizard's hood, and even a little familiar, his face changed slightly. This guy was really serious last time. What nonsense did the knight say after waking up? What steam, what sneak attack, and no martial ethics. The bartender felt a little guilty. Tucker didn't mean to find fault, but just said it in a slightly admonishing tone. After you take the money, at least you should explain clearly. There's no one there, you made me go there for nothing. The bartender smiled awkwardly. I just know that there's indeed an alchemy shop over there, but I'm not sure whether it's open. To make up for your loss, I'll give you a glass of our Black River Valley specialty wine, Hot Rock wine. You're not at a disadvantage. Okay. Tucker shrugged. Soon, a hot glass with a little rock fruit wine aroma was pushed in front of Tucker. Compared with the large capacity of the wooden wine glass, the wine in this small capacity wine glass is obviously more expensive. A full 25 copper coins, half a silver dragon. The bartender said with a little pain. But you still made a profit. Tucker smiled lightly and flicked the silver dragon in his hand directly over. This time I promise that the news I tell is accurate enough. The bartender who caught the silver dragon coin smiled and said confidently. I heard that a lot of demon hunters have come to Black River Valley during this period. Tucker tasted a mouthful of hot rock wine, which had a mellow taste and a little aroma of fruit wine, and then asked casually, "Not only a lot, but a lot." The bartender was very interested in chatting during work hours, not to mention that the tip from the other party was generous. It is said that the hotels in the town are already crowded, and even the sheepfolds of the sheepherders not far away have been rented by some demon hunters. As the bartender narrated, the general outline gradually emerged in Tucker's mind. Before, Tucker only knew that there were demon hunters, but the number was unknown. And now with the bartender's explanation, Tucker realized that there were quite a lot of demon hunters in this wave. Those in their 20s were relatively low level. There were quite a few demon hunters in their 30s and 40s. And they were organized and planned, not like scattered soldiers. A demon hunter or organization. Tucker thought for a while. This is the bad thing about small places. The news is not well informed and thorough. I remember that our Principality of Syrian doesn't seem to have a powerful demon hunter or organization. If there were, they would have come to the Dark Mantle province long ago, and they wouldn't have come now that St. Rand is threatened. It doesn't look like scattered soldiers, and there are foreign demon hunters among the demon hunters. Could it be? The Principality of Syrian has signed a world contract with other extraordinary principalities in the country and made a deal. Let the demon hunters in other extraordinary worlds come to our world through the World Star Track and the Spirit World Steam Train. It's possible. Tucker secretly pondered the possibility. Demon Hunter, extraordinary sequence. The demon hunters are given extremely special physiques and characteristics. They can naturally resist and even purify attacks and pollution from darkness. And they will cause special damage to creatures in the dark sequence. It can be said that demon hunters are born to be good at hunting darkness, demons, devils, evil spirits and other strange dark creatures. At present, the power of the Dark Sun Church in the Black River Valley area is already undercurrent. And these demon hunters are the powerful force that stirs up this muddy water. The more chaotic it is, the better for Tucker. Even if we don't cooperate with them, it would be great to get to know these foreign demon hunters and know their actions. Tucker was about to ask the bartender for more information about the demon hunters. Bang! The door of the tavern was pushed open fiercely. With a smell of wet blood, a group of demon hunters wearing black light armor, holding knives and carrying several corpses, entered in a murderous manner. Chapter 119 Steam Demon Hunter. This group of damn demon hunters, don't they know to clean up the rain outside? They have to come inside the store to wet the hard-to-clean sofa. The bartender who saw this scene immediately muttered in a low voice. But he didn't dare to say anything. After all, these demon hunters have made their tavern a lot of money in the few days since the Grey Night rainy season. In the past, during the rainy season, their tavern in the riverside town was completely deserted, and it was difficult to earn a copper. These foreign visitors may be difficult to serve, but they are generous, and the young bartender has received a lot of tips during this period. These 7 or 8 foreign demon hunters sat down near the large fireplace. Tucker saw clearly that this group of demon hunters were hunting too, herders. And they were herders of more than 30 levels. In addition to the herders, there were several elite-level Dark Sun Evil Fallen whose skin had already shown scales. The herders still retained their human form. However, the Dark Sun Evil Fallen born in the pollution and sin show the nature of beasts rather than humans. The pollution of the Dark Sun itself is a distortion and deformation of the ecology of the human race. Those evil spirits and mysterious sects that engage in destruction, sacrifice, and blood sacrifice in human territory at least retain the essence of the human race. But being polluted by the Dark Sun means that they have completely given up their essence as humans and accepted the corruption of becoming a foreign object. The corpses of the shepherds and the Dark Sun Evil Fallen were piled up by the demon hunters casually, and their style was quite bold and rough. I wonder if they will have another exorcism ceremony later. Tucker remembered that the demon hunter's exorcism ceremony can allow them to obtain more source energy and origin from the dark and corrupted things. Anyway, these guys have been physically transcended, and they probably don't care whether there is another wave of magical transcendence. While sorting out the wet protective gear and clothes, these demon hunters talked loudly, and their tone and movements were also a bold style. That damn herder group actually dared to test us. Do they really think our demon hunter priests have no eyes? That's right, and the smell of these guys is so obvious that my demon hunting dogs can smell it from a long distance. They thought we didn't find them. My demon hunting rune bell is also ringing non-stop. The hot and burly female demon hunter in the crowd shook the bell on her wrist and said. Unfortunately, the bell did not ring as she shook her arm. Obviously, It must be the approach of dark creatures that will trigger it. The dark creatures here don't have the same sense of caution as the demon hunters, who have experienced hundreds of battles. I even think they are too stupid. Are the demon hunters in this world just decorations? The tone of several demon hunters was obviously very relaxed. At this time, the captain of the team, a young demon hunter who looked very young but at a high level, spoke lightly. Don't underestimate the dark creatures here. They have the Church of the Evil God behind them. And these herders who believe in the Dark Sun are better at large-scale combat. They are not the kind of scattered and foolish evil spirits who dare to provoke at will with a little means. Moreover, their offensive steps are very safe. They use the Ash Dark Tide to advance step by step, build altars, summon the Dark Sun, and use the Dark Sun to build their own Dark Sun ecology. Absorb the extraordinary people who surrender to them and transform them into herders, and then continue to expand the Dark Sun Evil Fallen tribe, cultivate elites, leaders, and even Dark Sun Evil Fallen lords. Their step-by-step expansion makes the Principality of Syrian somewhat unable to cope. Although we have killed a lot of Dark Sun Evil Fallen and herders during the time we came here, we can't take it lightly. Captain, I understand what you said. But this damn weather here is too terrible. It's been sunny for half a month, and it's a weird blood-red sun. For half a month, I could only see the moon, and it was an unbelievably magically cold moon. The weird weather would be fine, but it happened to be this damn rainy season. The rain was really fucking heavy. After a battle, I did nothing else but roar and intimidate. I was busy drinking water. I was almost full. The demon hunters talked to each other. Tucker listened quietly on the side. This group of demon hunters still used the official common language of the Three-Eyed God, Holy Spirit Kingdom. It was mixed with some foreign dialects and accents, and it sounded like another language. But after Tucker paid a little attention, he could basically understand everything. These Dark Sun Evils are still quite good. Their teeth are just like alchemical alloys. That's right. They bit my light armor. You're fine. My scimitar was corroded by the blood of the shepherd. That damn idiot actually used his own blood as a curse. My broken knife can't be repaired here. When the demon hunter team was discussing, one of them suddenly seemed to have discovered something. Hey, that wizard, yes, I'm talking about you. Tucker turned around and looked at the group of demon hunters with an innocent face. I'm just sitting here listening to you talk, but I didn't provoke you. Burn me with your flames and dry my clothes. My wet clothes are too uncomfortable. Don't worry, my clothes are all extraordinary equipment, including the guy who protects the second one. After drying, I will pay for all your food and drinks today. Among the demon hunters, the bald demon hunter looked at Tucker and said in a rough voice, my flames are very powerful. Tucker paused and said. Tucker was really afraid that a nightmare oil bomb would burn this level 34 demon hunter to death on the spot. Young wizard, you are only level 21, how powerful can your flames be? If they are burned, it's my fault. I'd rather you burn all these wet clothes you are wearing. The foreign demon hunter said nonchalantly. Tucker smiled. Don't use flames, it's better to use hot air. As he spoke, Tucker had already cast a spell. The deep understanding and control of the 3-star rune spell rune, Hurricane Holding has allowed Tucker to control wind spells to an extremely amazing level. Combined with precision, it is still easy to create a stable air supply belt. Micro, Hurricane. As Tucker's spell fell, a vortex of wind blew into the fire from the side of the fireplace flame, and then the wind duct poured into the demon hunter's legs, swept through his body and blew out from the top of his head. The scorching fire waves were accompanied by the fierce wind. After a few breaths, the demon hunter was completely dried by Tucker's wind. Tucker's witchcraft made the 42-level genius steam demon hunter captain with silver pupils in the team suddenly condense his eyes. Looking at Tucker's pupils, the silver light circles were flickering slightly. Just when the wizard cast a spell, he realized that the young wizard he had not noticed just now was actually a steam wizard. And the opponent's witchcraft was also quite incredible. The more he looked, the more he felt that the steam wizard in front of him was mysterious and powerful. Young wizard, your witchcraft is really great. Feeling the dry clothes, the bald demon hunter laughed. Hey, bartender, I'll pay for his expenses today. At this time, in the demon hunting team, the tall demon hunter beauty with a hard and plump figure, healthy wheat-colored skin, and beautiful looks whistled at Tucker. She hooked her finger at Tucker boldly. Hey, young wizard, cast a spell like the one you just cast for me. I'll pay for all your drinks this month." Tucker raised his eyebrows. Is this the rhythm of meeting a rich woman and saving 20 years of hard work? Although in this town, normally, a month's drinks are not worth a few magic gold. But Tucker doesn't mind getting to know this group of foreign demon hunters. After all, their captain is not simple. Steam sequence, powerful A-level extraordinary talent, and strange blood power, and may even have talent ability. The level is as high as 42, which is already a mid-level demon hunter. And the other party is still very young. No matter how you look at it, it is a genius extraordinary person. Tucker cast a spell again. The wind and waves swept the hot foreign demon hunter all over the body. "Oh. Damn this heat wave, little wizard brother, you blow me so hard." The hot beauty demon hunter's explicit and bold words immediately made the group of demon hunters burst into laughter. Even the bored local extraordinary people not far away were amused by the scene. The laughter filled every corner of the tavern and even overflowed into the rain outside. In this tavern in the border town, only Tucker suffered a loss in the world, perfectly achieved. Chapter 120. Isn't this more profitable than herding sheep? Inside the not-too-small Blue Tile Heart Tavern, the laughter and chatter gradually died down. The demon hunters ordered food and drinks and began to feast. "Would you like to order something to drink? Anyway, you don't have to pay." The young bartender came up and said in a low voice, "Black corned beef bread soup, add more beef, and cook the soup for a while longer to make it thicker. This is one of Tucker's favorite foods." He got it. The young bartender blinked at Tucker with an expression that said, "I understand." While waiting for the meal, footsteps sounded behind him. Then, the demon hunter team leader, who was about 27 or 28 years old, with short golden brown hair and strange silver ring pupils, sat down next to Tucker. "Andre Fan." The demon hunter team leader introduced himself. Tucker glanced at the powerful demon hunter genius, and then spoke softly. "Tanaru. Are you also here to hunt those herders and the Dark Sun evil?" Andre Fan asked casually. Tucker shook his head. "You demon hunters hunt those herders and the Dark Sun evil fallen, which is part of your cultivation and growth. Not for me. You can understand, I'm just passing by here." Tucker responded lightly. "Are you going back to Saint Land?" "I will go back after this gray night period ends." Tucker nodded. "That's at least 10 days away." Andre Fan laughed. Tucker could already sense it from the other party's tone. Compared to getting to know the other party, the demon hunter captain obviously wanted to get to know him more. To these demon hunters, in a way, Tucker was a genuine local. And he was a very powerful local. Nothing would be more conducive to their actions than a powerful local to guide them, or even give them advice and suggestions. Sure enough, these rough-styled foreign demon hunter captains quickly explained their true thoughts. "If you don't mind, I hope to invite you to be our team's demon hunting guide before the end of the next gray night." Tucker turned around and looked at the mid-level demon hunter extraordinary who was already over level 40, and said seriously, "If you want to get some useful advice from me, my advice is that the water in the Black River Valley is very deep, and you can't control it. But I don't think you will listen." Tucker's words made the demon hunter Andre Fan laugh. He immediately lowered his voice. "As the guide of our team, you don't need to fight, you just need to use your wizard skills to help us find the herders. For every herder hunted, you can get a reward of 50 magic gold. How about it?" Tucker's eyes were slightly fixed in thought. 1 herder gets 50 magic gold, 10 gets 500 magic gold, 100 gets 5,000 magic gold. Isn't this more profitable than herding sheep? And it's not that dangerous. After all, this team is really capable. More importantly, we can get into their ranks to a certain extent, guide them, and muddy the waters of the entire Black River Valley. After thinking for a moment, Tucker nodded. "No problem, but if I'm forced to get involved in the battle, I'll also get a share of the spoils." "Okay." Andre Fan nodded. "In that case, let's gather here tomorrow morning and try our first cooperation." Tucker looked at the time on his ash clock and said, "Understood." A small tentative cooperation was reached. As Andre Fan left, Tucker's deluxe version of the black horned beef bread soup was also brought over. Looking at the pile of beef that was about to overflow, Tucker estimated that it would take at least 2 or 3 silver dragons to get it. But even so, it was just a drizzle for those foreign demon hunters. After all, 1 magic gold was worth 20 silver dragons. While tasting the rich and fragrant bread soup, Tucker was thinking about a follow-up plan. Finding the herders was not a difficult task for Tucker. Across the river, Near the ruins of Lamor, there were so many herders and the Dark Sun Evil fallen. Moreover, Tucker was quite familiar with the terrain there. After all, Tucker himself and the former Tucker had dug caves, set traps, and caught rats there. Even if he didn't go across the river, he could go to the deeper part of the Black River Valley Tower City-State. According to the dwarf alchemist Baggins, there were also a large number of Dark Sun Evil fallen and herders there. Although, Tucker could also hunt these herders alone. But that didn't make much sense. On the contrary, if Tucker acted alone, he would be easily discovered by the rebellious strongmen of the Black River Valley and the masters of the Dark Sun Church. But following these organized and planned demon hunters, who may even have a guild, is completely different. When the masters of the Dark Sun Church counterattacked on a large scale, when everyone fled in all directions, Tucker could completely take advantage of the situation and escape. This is much better than attracting firepower alone. Put the slow-running teammates in the front row. This is the role of the team. After thinking for a while, Tucker made a serious summary. In the tavern, with the end of the demon hunting sacrifice ceremony, the bodies of the evil and the shepherds were transmigrated through the magic ceremony, leaving nothing behind. Tucker, who was watching on the side, praised the demon hunting sacrifice ceremony and said goodbye to this demon hunting team. Soon, the demon hunting team living in the Blue Tile Heart Tavern gathered in their captain's house. "Captain, is that guy really a steam wizard?" the hot beauty demon hunter asked curiously. "Yes. See, I told you, that guy is really something," the bald demon hunter man shouted. "It's just that his level is a bit low, only level 21. No, his level is not level 21. Captain Andre Pham shook his head and said, "Not level 21. The team members all looked over. Their levels were much higher than that of the steam wizard. With a natural level advantage, it was easier to discern the level of low-level extraordinary people. The level of 21 is just a cover, if you discern it carefully enough. His real level is hidden behind the level 21. Andre Pham elaborated. "Then, what is the level of that steam wizard?" the female demon hunter asked curiously. "Level 23. Andre Pham said seriously. "Only level 23, still a bit low." "Lower, it's safer," Andre Pham said. "But that steam wizard is not safe." The deputy captain, who had been silent in the crowd, spoke quietly. He didn't speak, and the team members almost ignored his existence. "When I talked to the wizard at close range, I could only confirm that he was not contaminated by the Dark Sun. But even so, as you said, this steam wizard is not safe for us. You all know how powerful the steam sequence is. He might lead us into a trap. So, I plan to cooperate with him step by step. And, we all have guild magic nets. This world also has things like tower magic nets. But they obviously haven't built a steam tower magic net system yet. If that human wants to set a trap for us, we can also notify others through the magic net. He can't escape the pursuit of our guild. After a few more cooperations, we can preliminarily confirm the safety of this wizard." These foreign demon hunters seem to be big-handed, rough and heroic. But when it comes to the battle of the demon hunters and their own safety, they are as delicate as the flowing water of a quiet spring, carefully considering every detail. Deep in the rain curtain, Tucker, holding up the shield of the wizard robe, moved forward silently. At this time, Tucker was also thinking carefully about the confrontation with a group of demon hunters today. A tiger in the heart, a rose in the nose. This is Tucker's general summary of preparing a group of demon hunters. Dealing with dark creatures, being able to survive and still have such a high level, it is obviously impossible to be as careless as it seems. Some kind of magic network in their arms, like an arcane magic network that is branded into them. The veins opened up with steam as the source energy. The direction of the connection is St. Lander. They should have rented a high tower in St. Lander as the core source of their steam magic network. The exotic means brought by these guys are indeed something. I hope that in the next period of time, I can be at ease to be a guide, and they can bring me some good benefits. In addition, there are quite a lot of demon hunters coming this time. There must be a lot of equipment and weapons that need to be repaired. Maybe I can introduce some work to Baggins. After all, he's idle anyway. Tucker is not interested in middlemen or not, mainly because Tucker wants to show his warm heart. Chapter 121 Summoning, Leader-Level Creature. The night was still deep. The heavy rain had stopped a little. It turned into drizzle. But now it is the rainy season, and it is impossible to stop the rain. In the rainy season of the extraordinary ecological environment, the rain can only be big or small, and there is no possibility of stopping. In some special ecological areas, a large amount of clouds and fog will be stored in a deep sky layer to form a sea of clouds. Once it rains, it is just like putting a water pipe in your mouth to release the flood. It can turn the entire city-state into an underground water world in minutes. Tucker vaguely remembered that a few hundred years ago, when the extraordinary Grand Duke of Syrians first opened up this world, a group of water wizards did such wicked things in some desert city-states of the Sun Rock Empire in the south. Later, that group of water wizards were hunted down by the Sun Rock Empire. Tucker, in the shadow state, quietly explored the surroundings and felt a little relieved. The concealment of the magical alchemy hut is still very strong. During the time Tucker was away, there were no signs of other people exploring around, not even the traces of extraordinary creatures and summoned beasts. But Tucker knew. He had killed that powerful team before. The Dark Sun Force in the Black River Valley would never give up. But with a continuous influx of demon hunters. At present, the Dark Sun Force in the Black River Valley dared not act rashly. But it won't be long before they have to act. One walked into Baggins's magical alchemy hut. Baggins's very stylish roar came from the alchemy secret room. This damn crucible, I really want to kill it with a hammer. Immediately, there were two clangs. Baggins, you move slowly. Although the magic alchemy hut is very safe, if you make a huge noise like you, people outside may find you. Sure enough, the angry mood was instantly curbed. Baggins opened the small door of the alchemy secret room and saw the small barrel in Tucker's hand as soon as he came out. His eyes lit up immediately. After taking the small barrel, Baggins began to drink it tons. After drinking half a barrel of wine in one breath, the depressed mood of not being able to forge a pure supernatural crystal like the previous leader level for more than a day finally dissipated. How is the forging going? Tucker asked. It's already forged. Baggins put down the small barrel and turned over the black cashmere cloth on the wooden shelf beside him. A silver storage bracelet with golden texture lines came into view. Tucker took it and felt a perception penetrate into it. The storage bracelet with a storage volume of more than a dozen large and small drawers was finally forged into a storage bracelet with a space of about 1.5 cubic meters. This space is already quite good. Tucker can see that Baggins has piled materials in it. Otherwise, it is impossible to have such a large and stable storage space. Did you put dragon scales in it? Tucker asked after groping for a while. Your perception is really amazing. Baggins grinned. I put in a little bit of the corners of the 5th order dragon scales. Although it's not much, the effect is very good. Thank you very much. If you like those weapons, you can pick a few. Tucker was not stingy while groping for the extraordinary storage bracelet with a little dragon scale characteristics. Of course, Tucker also had to reserve enough space for this new storage bracelet for the next plan. Those are all your war items. I won't get involved. Baggins shook his head decisively. You have a lot of weapons. If you put them in, you can fill up the extraordinary storage space. Leave them with me. I can sell them on your behalf. When the time comes, I will give you magic gold. The premise is that we can return to Saint Land. This Baggins obviously knows that he can be safer if he and Tucker are tied to the same boat. Thank you very much. Tucker nodded. Baggins wants to cooperate with Tucker, and Tucker also wants to cooperate with Baggins. When he goes to Saint Land in the future, it is inevitable that there will be some friction with others. When the time comes, Tucker will kill people and rob goods, and there will definitely be a lot of these things that need to be dealt with. Baggins, this guy, can sell those stolen goods in the store after forging them. It is not a problem to sell them at a low price on the black market. If there are formal channels, who would be willing to sell them at a low price on the black market? To get involved, you need strength, background, and channels to be really tough. In the next few days, I will go out to explore the situation here on a daily basis, and even participate in certain battles. Some of my friends' weapons and equipment need your help to repair and forge. You can charge a normal fee. Tucker said to Baggins, who was eating and drinking. No problem. After swallowing the food and drinks, Baggins nodded. Anyway, I don't have anything to do here. I can knock on more equipment to make me less bored. By the way, Tucker raised his eyebrows and remembered the important things after the promotion. Please help me forge this ring staff. After it is upgraded to level 3, try to improve its level as much as possible. It will be counted as the 4th item of our contract. Tucker took out his own shadow rune ring staff, as well as the corresponding shadow materials and dark materials. Baggins immediately put down the small barrel and carefully picked up Tucker's shadow rune ring staff to examine it. It's a very good shadow rune ring staff. The rune power contained in it can be upgraded to level 3. The quantity of this material is also sufficient. So many shadow materials can at least be upgraded to level 37 or 38. There is also a crystal of the extraordinary characteristics of the second level Dark Leader. This can help the shadow ring staff increase its damage. Baggins couldn't let go of these materials from Tucker. Forging 4th level extraordinary equipment was just a matter of time for him. Forging 3rd level extraordinary equipment, even rune equipment, was no problem for him. After eating and drinking, Baggins immediately started the source energy steam engine and started a new round of forging. Tucker would naturally not miss such a good opportunity to observe. While observing, Baggins would also talk about it. Tucker was like an apprentice, quietly learning and absorbing efficiently. From Baggins's magical alchemy hut, Tucker learned too many things from the touch of the spirit. For example, the large source energy steam engine drawings needed for the tower. For example, after adding the flight feature, the steam airship drawings that can fly in the sky, and the ratio of flight feature materials, etc. Tucker even memorized the magical feature framework of this magical alchemy hut. And this is still what Tucker can touch directly on the surface. Those things stored in storage bracelets and small storage boxes, Tucker has not had time to touch the spirit to learn. But there are still more than 10 days to go, so Tucker will naturally not let it go. 2 or 3 hours later, Tucker successfully got his 3rd level shadow rune ring staff. Then Tucker went out directly and began to test his new equipment outside the town by the river valley, near the downstream. On a larger river island, Tucker, who was in the shadow state, arranged the ceremony while carefully recalling the effects of the 3rd level shadow rune ring staff in various aspects. This 3rd level shadow rune ring staff is about level 37 or 38. The level close to the middle level makes my shadow state more solid. Now I am more like a shadow creature, not a shadow state. The second is the amazing effect of the shadow's concealment, which is the most important. My steam origin spiritual state can extremely restrain my breath. With this 3rd level shadow rune ring staff, I can sneak into the Black River Valley Tower, capture people and turn them into sheep, and disguise myself. There is no problem. Then there is the blessing of the 3rd level shadow rune ring staff itself on my various spells. The effect of the 3rd level rune ring staff is much better than the previous 2nd level rune ring staff. While thinking, Tucker had already prepared the small ceremony. At this time, the ritual constructed by Tucker was the shadow contract ritual that Tucker had mastered before. Before, Tucker was just an ordinary wizard. Although he anchored the area of the shadow dimension, he did not dare to contract the powerful shadow leader Shadow Flame Wolf with bloodline power there. But now, Tucker has become a steam wizard, promoted to the 2nd level, and mastered 2 SSS level extraordinary talents. The level, skills, and equipment have also reached the peak level that can be controlled at present. So, it's time for Tucker to find a suitable and powerful contract creature for himself. The sound and shadow wandering in light and darkness. In front of the small ritual altar with black candles, black curtains and black daggers. Tucker chanted in a low voice, and the echo of the spell bloomed around Tucker like ripples. Tucker followed the veins upstream and soon found the shadow dimension area that was anchored before. This time, he had the talent of steam origin spiritual state. As soon as he arrived at this dimensional area, Tucker found the shadow flame wolf leader who exuded a powerful aura of the leader level. Looks like level 35. It will be a bit tricky, but that's right. Tucker smiled lightly. If I feel it's tricky, then the enemy will only feel despair. Come here, my shadow leader. The power of the shadow ritual dragged the powerful shadow leader. At this time, the shadow flame wolf leader not only did not resist, but took the initiative to follow the power of the contract summon and rushed over. It felt it. It was a weak alien life form of only level 25. More importantly, that aura had stolen from his men. And that shameless thief dared to come. Since the other party is so bold, then the shadow flame wolf leader thinks, the other party must be delicious. With the swaying of the swaying black ritual candlelight, the shadow flame wolf leader, a shadow creature with a level of up to level 35, descended into the real dimension. Chapter 122 Surrender. Rain. From the original drizzle, It became a clattering sound, and then a heavy downpour. The whole world was madly beaten by the violent rain. The rain blurred the vision of the demon wolf leader, and soaked his pride as the leader of the third-level Shadow Flame Demon Wolf. The river island, which was originally large in area. At this time, half of the area had collapsed. The edge of the other half was also crumbling. In the corner, the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader looked at the human. And the human was also looking at it. The man and the wolf were in a stalemate. It would be better if it didn't move. Once it moved, the witchcraft bomb containing the power of light in the human's hand would be thrown directly on its forehead. In just a short while, it couldn't remember how many witchcraft bombs it had eaten. Fortunately, it has a strong leader-level physique and can still bear it for now. But if it continues like this, it may not be possible. Roar! Roar! The roar roared and surged in the throat. But it did not move, and as expected, the human did not attack. The next moment, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader rushed out. With a shadow passing through, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader almost instantly came to the side of the human. As its innate ability, shadow passing is completely its instinct. This way of passing through and attacking is so fast that even he may not be able to react. But the human wizard can react. Not only can he react, but he can even counterattack his attack. When the Shadow Flame Wolf leader bit down, the shadow wind claws tore it apart. The human disappeared, just disappeared for no reason. At the same time, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader bit a witchcraft bomb left by the human wizard. The human wizard even calculated the position of its bite and left a witchcraft bomb specifically for it. Boom! The violent explosion roared. The river island, which was not big to begin with, shrank a little more. The power of light washed over his body, which also made the body of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, whose life essence was shadow, weaker again. Light. Naturally restraining the shadow. And Tucker's steam sequence contains the characteristics of sacred light. The rainstorm beat hard on this world. In the rain, a man and a wolf were deadlocked again. Yes. From the beginning of the battle to now, the human wizard used such simple and unpretentious means to beat it extremely aggrieved. It seems that the human wizard knows everything about the surrounding world. No matter how he chases and kills, the human escapes so easily, and then throws witchcraft bombs on its head. More importantly, he can't dodge the witchcraft bomb. Yes, he can't dodge it at all. He has tried many times. The witchcraft bomb seems to have eyes. It flies specifically to its forehead. Even when he is walking in the shadow, the witchcraft bomb will follow a very strange angle and fall at the location of his foothold. Continuous attempts. The means and ability of the human wizard to see through everything in the surrounding world. It has made the 35th level leader Shadow Flame Wolf feel desperate, even fearful. It is like a bug entangled in a spider web. No matter how it struggles, it cannot escape the hand of the human wizard who is only 25th level. If that damn human wizard doesn't run away. One bite, I only need one bite to bite him to death. The intelligent Shadow Flame Wolf leader thought silently. The next moment, something happened that made the Shadow Flame Wolf leader tremble in his heart. If I don't dodge, do you think you can bite me to death? The human wizard Tucker looked at the intelligent Shadow Flame Wolf leader in front of him with interest. Although this guy behaved like a fool. But in fact, every time he attacked, this big guy was testing, summarizing, and adjusting. This is a Shadow Flame Wolf leader who knows how to hide his shortcomings. It is very smart. What a pity. Its little tricks are like a blank sheet of paper in front of Tucker. I won't run away this time, you can give it a try. Feeling that the time was almost right, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, examining the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, and said lightly. Although he was trembling in his heart as to why the human wizard knew his thoughts. But the Shadow Flame Wolf leader was ready to attack. There was almost no sign. The Shadow Flame Wolf leader once again passed through the shadows, incredibly fast, faster than any previous attack. Sure enough, this big guy has been hiding his ability to pass through instantly. Tucker, who noticed that the opponent's speed was obviously faster than before, laughed softly. What a pity. No matter how fast you are, in front of me, the trajectory of your attack movements will affect everything around you. You will always be slower than me. What's more, the dimension of the layer of your shadow passing is too low, lower than the spiritual world of my spirit walking hand. Not to mention compared with my magical power. Tucker pressed his backhand almost in anticipation. Boom, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader passed in front of Tucker and had not yet left the shadow layer. Tucker's spirit hand slapped the Shadow Flame Wolf leader out of the Shadow Layer domain. He was pressed on the cold stone of the river island in the real layer. Moreover, the layer suppression from the spirit hand made it impossible for him to perform shadow travel. At this time, Tucker's spirit hand tightly grasped the head of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader. As long as Tucker wanted, this blow would be enough to seriously injure him or even kill him. After all, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader had eaten so many light-shaping spear orbs before and was already weak enough. When you travel, I can easily interrupt you and even take the opportunity to attack you. I let you travel and fall beside me because you are a leader-level creature. I don't want to hit you too hard. Now is the last time to choose. Die or surrender. The threat of death, as well as the frustration and confusion of having its innate ability interrupted. Under Tucker's cold words, it turned into sharp claws, ruthlessly tearing the dignity and pride of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader. In the end, the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, who was tightly controlled, whimpered in submission to Tucker. Huh? With the surrender of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, Tucker breathed a sigh of relief. If the fight continues, this small island will not be able to hold on. And as time goes by, the probability of being discovered is gradually increasing. Glancing at the small altar in the distance protected by the power of the ritual, Tucker guided the power of the altar and began to construct the contract ritual. What you see is what I see. What you touch is what I touch. What you hurt. Tucker glanced at the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, whose body had begun to break, and took a deep breath. What you hurt, or what you hurt, can't hurt me. Shadow Flame Wolf leader. The original contract ritual had its own basic rules. Even if it is based on the basic contract, it can perfectly restrain this big shadow leader who is 2 meters tall, with a wolf head height of 2.5 meters, and a body length of nearly 4 meters. And Tucker's additional additions are naturally to better exert, press, and exert, squeeze, the value of this Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader. He completed the shadow ritual summoning contract rules, and then slowly poured the power of the contract into the soul, extraordinary characteristics, and even all corners of the shadow essence of the body of the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader. After doing all this, Tucker immediately ended the ceremony and put away the small altar board. Glancing at the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader, he said, "Follow me." He left quickly. Tucker vaguely felt that someone noticed this place. As the power of the contract rules took effect in the body of the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader, he felt the almost humiliating contract rules added by the human wizard. Then compared with the contract terms in the memory of the blood inheritance deep in the soul, the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf leader was shaking with anger. This is a completely humiliating clause, even a dog wouldn't sign it. As a result, he was forced into the soul and ecosystem of this human, which was worse than death. But as long as he is obedient, it seems not bad. At least the human wizard will provide food and accommodation. And this real layer is much safer than the shadow dimension. Most importantly, the human wizard is really powerful. The Shadow Flame Wolf leader shook his head, looked at the human wizard who had gone far away, and quickly followed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 Physical Exorcism is the most deadly. Blue Tile Heart Tavern. Compared to yesterday, there are many more customers today. In addition to some demon hunters, there are many locals, and they are all locals of high level. At this time, many locals gathered together to discuss. Damn, I can't stay in Black River Valley anymore. Yesterday, the widow next door secretly called me to fix her water pipes. It took most of the night. Today I want to go to her house again to see if there is anything to fix. But the widow knight, who is only level 5, jumped directly onto the ceiling and asked me to go up and have fun with her. You don't know how creepy that laugh is. The tongue is longer than my short sword. It sounds like this distortion is pretty good. The other extraordinary people on the side joked. There was laughter from the people around. You are still lucky. Yesterday, I heard that a bloody rain fell in an area in the north, and several lighthouse defense points were flooded with blood. The people inside are probably dead there. Before it was Lamore, now it is probably our Black River Valley's turn. That's right. Tell me, is there a possibility that it is not our Black River Valley's turn, but it has already started? A sentence from the crowd. It directly silenced many extraordinary people in the tavern. The strange events that have occurred in succession during this period have proved that the pollution in the Black River Valley is gradually getting worse. From those herders and the Dark Sun evil fall, they continue to appear around the Black River Valley. Many extraordinary people have already sniffed out these bad information, and taking the initiative to go to the border town some distance away from the Black River Valley city-state is also a move by these extraordinary people to actively avoid the danger deep in the Black River Valley. In the corner of the Landwaxen Tavern, Tucker, drinking fruit wine, quietly listened to the stories of those extraordinary people who escaped from the Black River Valley. In the precise site, these extraordinary people have a lot of puppet threads on their bodies. Especially those extraordinary people who ran out of the Black River Valley Tower city-state, the puppet threads are all over their bodies. And the other end of the puppet thread is on the high tower of the Black River Valley. They seem to have escaped from the Black River Valley city-state. But, did they really escape? Then, Tucker retracted his gaze and looked at the Black River Valley Tower city-state. There, the bizarre puppet threads, with raindrops as veins, are all over the Black River Valley city-state. The terrible power is gestating deep in the Black River Valley Tower city-state. The border town where Tucker is located is better. The urban area of the Black River Valley is a severely polluted area. The game between St. Lands and the Black River Valley has actually started a long time ago. The slightly dull and depressing hall. A loud voice broke the deadlock. You people from the Black River Valley are obviously polluted. Although we are not priests, we are demon hunters. Exorcism is our specialty. This made many extraordinary people in the hall look over. What caught their eyes was a group of demon hunters whose levels were generally above level 30. The demon hunter who was talking was wearing the robes of the missionary of light that he found from somewhere. Although the clothes did not fit him well, they were quite suitable for the situation. Yes, these demon hunters from other places can exorcise demons. Those who are polluted among them may still have the chance to be rescued. Hey, foreign demon hunters. I heard that exorcism can increase your source energy experience. How about I give you some experience for free? A more agile extraordinary person stood on a chair and staggered towards the demon hunters. It was obvious that he had drunk a little too much. Okay. I can do physical exorcism for you for free. Come and try it. The demon hunter wearing the robes of the missionary of light nodded and said, Really? The drunken superhuman jumped off the chair and walked over. As soon as he approached, he was grabbed by the collar by the demon hunter in the robes of the missionary of light. Bang! The dexterous superhuman was knocked to the ground by the foreign demon hunter's fist as big as a casserole. 2 of his teeth were broken out. Free physical exorcism, just to expel the devil of greed in your heart. I think the devil of greed in your heart has been expelled now, right? The demon hunter said coldly. The dexterous superhuman, whose mouth was full of blood, dared not resist. He was only level 17. Yes. The dexterous superhuman gritted his teeth and said in a low voice to suppress his anger. Blood splashed out from the gap between his broken teeth. But, the angry devil has already grown. I will help you expel the angry devil for free again. The demon hunter sneered and shook his fist. No bang. The screams of the dexterous superhuman stopped abruptly. The demon hunter knocked the guy unconscious with one punch. A despicable foreign demon hunter who has no moral principles. The extraordinary people in the tavern couldn't help but curse in their hearts. But what surprised many extraordinary people was that after throwing the unconscious extraordinary person to the ground, the demon hunter wearing the robes of the missionary of light began to chant in a low voice. Soon, the light fell on the demon hunter at the bottom like a drizzle. The strange black mist, with a hissing sound, continued to overflow from the fainted extraordinary person and was dispelled. In Tucker's precise vision, some of the strange puppet threads were indeed expelled. After a while, the missionary of light demon hunter finished the exorcism. His eyes gradually looked around the entire tavern. We have set up an exorcism area at number 6 Sheepfold. You can choose to pay, or you can choose to do it for free like him. Otherwise, you can't get out of the Black River Valley. The demon hunter who spoke looked at the stairs of the tavern, nodded, and left immediately. At this time, Steam Demon Hunter Andre Fan, a member of the team, just came down the stairs. With the departure of the demon hunter, the tavern suddenly became noisy and lively. This group of demon hunters is really ruthless. We have been very merciful. Did you see how they dealt with those Dark Sun evils before? If you tell me more details, you won't be able to eat for 3 days. Is it so exaggerated? Not at all. To be honest, these demon hunters are quite good. At least they really help us when there is something wrong. It's already very good that they are willing to help us exorcise and purify. And those big figures in the towers in our city-state, he may have sold us as lambs to the Dark Sun Church. I heard that the extraordinary people from several other tower city-states are crowding into Saint Land. The rent of the Saint Land underground city has more than doubled in the past 6 months. If this goes on, we can only beg in Saint Land. In the tavern that has become lively and noisy again, some extraordinary people got up and left quietly. It is not known whether they have other things to do or want to seek help for exorcism. The game between Saint Land and Black River Valley is unfolding on these demon hunters. Tucker learned from the escaped supernaturals that there were also a large number of demon hunters in the other 2 border towns. While Tucker was thinking, the steam demon hunter Andre Fan sat down next to Tucker, glanced at the window and said, "When the rain was light yesterday, I thought it was going to stop. But it turned into heavy rain in the blink of an eye. Is the weather here always like this?" Tucker drank the fruit wine in front of him. "This is already good weather. At least the heavy rain didn't wash away the town." Andre Fan. "Okay, since the members are all here, let's get started. After all." Tucker took a deep breath and said slowly, "The herders we have to deal with today will be a lot." "A lot." "Yes, a lot." Tucker nodded seriously. "But, as far as we know, the distribution of herders is relatively scattered." Andre Fan, who was in the lead, frowned slightly. "That's because you're not using the right method." Tucker cast a shield on himself, entered the shadow state and floated out of the tavern. "Once you find the right method to hunt in the Ashland, you'll find the number of herders is staggering." Chapter 124 The Exclusive Method of Blasphemers. The Canyon by the River. The heavy rain washed the world. At the same time, it also washed away the bodies of the large number of Dark Sun evil fallen and the bodies of the herders who fell to the ground. Originally, the demon hunting team did not believe Tucker's words. The herders wandering around the Black River Valley were very cunning. They would escape at the slightest sign of trouble. Their demon hunting team did not get much in the past few days. How could it be presented in the form of extremely large numbers? However, in this canyon by the river, in less than 2 hours, they had killed 7 or 8 waves, more than 300 Dark Sun evil fallen and 7 or 8 herders. No matter how much they did not believe it, they had to admit it. The steam wizard, who was not of a high level, had a way to make those herders and Dark Sun evil fallen run to this desperate canyon and deliver them to their mouths. If their captain was not on the rock wall with a human wizard at this time, they almost thought that the human was a member of the Dark Sun Church and deliberately let the herders come to die. Although the heavy rain hindered their vision and perception to a certain extent, it also hindered those herders and the Dark Sun evil. It also allowed them to kill these herders and the Dark Sun evil without being discovered by the herders coming behind. At this efficiency, the number of herders and the Dark Sun evil they killed today might be more than the total number during this period. At this time, a battle in the rain curtain ended. The unlucky level 26 herder was marked by Tucker's nightmare oil bomb as soon as he arrived in this area. Until his death, the strange red color of the nightmare oil bomb had not been extinguished. If it weren't for the strange flame that ignited his body, he felt that he could still struggle. But with the mark of the flame, the herder who was good at hiding and dodging died tragically on the spot. Moreover, his death was particularly aggrieved. Cut off the head of the last Dark Sun evil, which was still twitching slightly. The female demon hunter Susanna Rudolph raised her head and said loudly, "Captain, there are enough corpses of the shepherd and the Dark Sun evil. We can complete a very good exorcism sacrifice." "Got it, just start it yourself." The rain mixed with the captain's voice fell. "Begin the ceremony." As the deputy captain of the demon hunting team, Ted, said, he kicked the head of the Dark Sun evil that rolled to his feet into the pile of corpses. The captain of the demon hunting team at the top of the canyon, Andre Fan, slowly withdrew his gaze from the sacrificial ceremony below. Then, Andre Fan looked at the wizard Tanaru beside him. While his eyes were slightly condensed, he began to have a little fear of this rather mysterious steam wizard. Andre Fan began to be unable to see through the steam wizard in front of him. At this time, not far in front of Tucker and Andre Fan, a small Dark Sun altar ceremony, in the rain curtain at the top of the canyon, was steadily constructed by Tucker. Even before Tucker had sacrificed a scaly native creature that he had caught temporarily and didn't recognize in front of him. Sacrificing to the Dark Sun in front of the demon hunter was no different from showing off one's light magic in front of the necromancer. Both were provoking the other party's extraordinary sequence. But Andre Fam finally had patience and allowed Tucker to do so. This also laid a good foundation for their rich harvest in the next 2 hours. Tucker had already mastered the spell to sacrifice to the Dark Sun and the Dark Sun altar. Tucker had already known the essential form through precise vision. It was very simple for Tucker to build a small altar to sacrifice to the Dark Sun. But what happened next was not simple. It was basically a high-end operation that only Tucker could complete. The Dark Sun ecology constructed by the Dark Sun Church would form a large number of veins between the strongholds of various city-states. And these veins were clearly visible in Tucker's perception and vision. They could be completely controlled by Tucker. Since he was a blasphemer, he would do something that a blasphemer should do. Tucker had previously corrupted the Holy Son of the Dark Sun Church. Now it is reasonable to pass on some false information about the Dark Sun God, right? Yes, that is what Tucker did. He built an altar and offered sacrifices to the great Dark Sun. When the channel for sacrifices was opened, Tucker built the veins between the Dark Sun strongholds. After that, he used the Dark Sun veins to transmit the will of convergence to the surroundings. As a result, those Dark Sun evildoers and herders felt the enlightenment from the Dark Sun Mother Goddess. Those herders and Dark Sun evildoers had never seen such a high-end game. Naturally, they came to die continuously. Even before some herders died, they were still praying for the protection of the Dark Sun Goddess. In response, the cold rain soaked their bodies and heads. I am really curious, your construction of this Dark Sun altar and your belief in the Dark Sun, will it really not affect you? Andre Fam said with a little bit of joking. His eyes swept across the small Dark Sun altar not far away. The Dark Sun inside was very weak and not enough to cause any pollution, but ordinary people would not dare to do this. You don't understand the operation of the high-end game. Tucker responded secretly in his heart. Then, in the shadow state, Tucker, who was sitting cross-legged and holding up the shield, slowly opened his eyes, looked at Andre Fan, and then looked at the Black River Valley city shrouded in rain not far away, and then slowly spoke. In fact, it won't. You are a demon hunter. You can clearly feel whether I am polluted by the Dark Sun. But I can't feel whether you believe in the Dark Sun. Andre Fan's eyes condensed slightly, and the bright silver ring in his pupils became brighter. Tucker turned a blind eye to the scene. Instead, he spoke slowly. You are doing exorcism for a fee in the border town. You should have also felt the changes in the Black River Valley. My goal is the same as yours, which is to destroy the promotion power that is being nurtured in the Black River Valley. If that power is allowed to complete the promotion, it will not be good for you or me. If you think there is something wrong with me, we can end the cooperation at any time. Tucker explained this, causing the demon hunter Andre Fan to raise his eyebrows slightly. He then laughed softly. I just maintain the necessary vigilance and suspicion. After all, I have to be responsible for my team members. I have no intention of ending the cooperation at all. In fact, I hope we can increase the intensity of cooperation. After all, these shepherds of the Dark Sun Church and the Dark Sun Evil Fallen, although the harvest is very good, it is still a little lacking. If, at the right time, we can enter the Black River Valley. That would be very interesting. Andre Fan's words made Tucker take a deep breath. As an A-level extraordinary genius, and even more so the Andre Fan of the Steam Demon Hunter, he is still a little ambitious. After all, he is a 4th-level extraordinary. There are indeed many good things in the Black River Valley. Tucker nodded in agreement. But, now is not the right time, but. Tucker paused. I have another place, maybe, worth exploring. Another place. Andre raised his eyebrows slightly. I like your but I like you to explain it in more detail. No problem, but I haven't found that place yet. Tucker slowly explained. After Tucker and the Shadow Flame Wolf leader completed the contract, Tucker asked him to take his 3 brothers deep into the wilderness and forests to start looking for the location of the ancient teleportation array that Baggins mentioned. At this time, the benefits of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader with a certain degree of intelligence were reflected. It can understand Tucker's meaning very well and complete the action independently. This saves Tucker a lot of trouble. Moreover, for the complex mountain terrain, the magic wolf is definitely an expert among experts. The The situation is just like this. I'll let you know when I find it. After all, aren't we both deepening the bridge of trust through cooperation? As Tucker finished his explanation, Andre Pham thought for a long time before looking at Tucker and laughing. To be honest, I'm beginning to like you. Tucker just responded indifferently. Compared to your liking, I care more about your strength. If you can't show enough strength to prove it in the next few days, I may not take you with me then. After all, even if we are both steam sequence, there's still a gap. Andre Pham couldn't help laughing at the proof that Tucker needed. Are you sure you need my proof? You're only level 2, and I'm level 4. Tucker glanced at Andre Pham. If I tell you that what you see of me is level 23, and it's just what I want you to see, you probably won't continue to laugh so happily. What? In the dark rain curtain, Andre Pham, who tried to push away the rain curtain but could not push away the darkness, gradually lost the smile on his face, replaced by an unprecedented solemnity. Chapter 125 Discovering the Door to Foreign Land. When darkness swept in, demon hunters were the most beautiful people in the dark tide. This truth has been proven in countless dark eras. And this point was also vividly demonstrated here in the border town of Black River Valley during this period. Demon hunters in the border town of Black River Valley continued to attack everywhere. A large number of herders and the Dark Sun evils they herded were killed. The 3 border towns outside the Black River Valley are now very safe. In addition to hunting herders and Dark Sun evils, many extraordinary people who escaped from the Black River Valley city-state, one after another, will also receive certain purification and treatment from demon hunters. Indistinctly, a large number of demon hunters in the 3 border towns have formed a countervailing force with the confusing situation of the Black River Valley Tower city-state. Landwaxen Tavern. This place has become a small gathering place for a large number of demon hunters in the border town. At this time, a large number of demon hunters and local extraordinary people are gathering in the tavern. Captain Andre, the number of herders has obviously decreased in the past 2 days. Could it be that you have killed them all? A demon hunter team laughed loudly. Andre Pham, who was sitting at the largest round table with a fireplace and wiping the 4th level rune, Silver Moon demon hunting blade, shrugged his shoulders. How is that possible? There will still be a lot of herders to the north. At worst, there are still a lot of them on the other side of the river. Besides, we have killed a lot fewer herders in the past 2 days. Bullshit. The demon hunter not far away looked unconvinced. We didn't encounter a single herder yesterday. We were just caught in the rain for 7 or 8 hours. As a result, I heard that you killed a lot of herders near the river valley, and the Dark Sun Evil Falls were almost piled up into a small mountain. Haha. It's just that we were lucky. While laughing, Andre Pham shook the 4th level rune, Silver Moon demon hunting blade, in front of his eyes. This scene immediately made many other demon hunters restrain their thoughts of getting a piece of the pie. Although they are extraordinary people from the same guild, they have a lot of friction in private. They play dirty tricks on each other, and if they are found out, they will be severely punished. But as long as they are not found out, there will be no problem. In the past few days, the number of herders has indeed decreased a lot. But under Tucker's incredible means, there are still herders from afar who are attracted here. Other teams can no longer find herders. They can still have a certain harvest, which makes many teams jealous. The sacrifices of the herders and the Dark Sun Evil Fall can get them source energy experience, and they can also earn merits from the Demon Hunter Steam Tower in Saint Land. More importantly, the extraordinary weapons, extraordinary characteristics, and even storage bracelets of the herders themselves are all income. Although each herder does not get much, but there are so many herders. In the past few days, the team has followed the local steam wizard Tanalu. It has been making a lot of money for several days in a row. This naturally makes the other teams who are outside only seeing the rain but not the harvest jealous. Thinking about it, Andre Pham looked at the wizard Tanalu not far away. Seeing that the other party was still as calm and silent as always, Andre Pham knew that Tanalu should not have found the so-called exotic door yet. Just as Andre Pham saw. Although Tucker had been asking the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, who was good at traveling deep in the mountains, to find the exotic door in the past few days. After all, according to Baggins, there are a lot of resources stored there. They are specially used to open up the exotic door. Especially, Space Runestone, this kind of powerful runestone with expensive value and rare quantity. It is the core material for making magic huts. Not to mention, There are other rune stones stored in the warehouse over there. Whether Tucker builds his own alchemy chamber, wizard tower, or forges powerful rune dragon scale armor, etc., a large number of rune stones are indispensable. Once the location of the exotic door is found, at least Tucker has the opportunity to obtain a large number of rune stones. However, the place where Baggins was confused when he went there was really hard to find. Although he didn't find the gate to the foreign land these days, Tucker was not idle either. Tucker still had a lot to do. As a high-end operation exclusive to the Blasphemer, Tucker not only did not stop, but increased his efforts. Using the sacrifice of the Dark Sun altar, Tucker retained a part of the faith veins and anchored it on a newly summoned level 12 Shadow Wolf, and put it in the shadow behind Tucker. As long as there is time, Tucker will pull out the faith veins from the shadow behind him and wrap it around the puppet silk thread that permeates from the Black River Valley. Then, following the power of the Dark Sun faith, he quietly penetrated and explored the location of the Black River Valley. In the past, with only the precision, correction, talent, Tucker could not have done such a long-distance exploration. But after having 1650% SSS, steam, original spiritual state, the original source energy, the trajectory veins containing spirituality, will naturally respond to Tucker. Tucker is fully capable of doing this. And the veins of the Dark Sun faith provide Tucker with perfect shelter. With a continuous infiltration and perception during this period, Tucker has discovered a lot of information. And the core is that in the Black River Valley Tower, the 69th level extraordinary person of the Puppet Master sequences using the power of the Dark Sun to use a large number of extraordinary residents in the Black River Valley as his puppet test subjects to complete his extraordinary advancement. Control and sacrifice the extraordinary people of an entire city-state to complete his own advancement. This is the bloody and cruel style of the Dark Sun Church. In fact, they have done many such things before. This is not the first time, and it will not be the last time. More than 60 levels are the bishop level. Once promoted to level 70 and becoming a high-level extraordinary person, that is the archbishop level. The reason why Lamore fell. It was because of the existence of the powerful archbishop which Ada Hicks. The information Tucker got was that the powerful archbishop was almost at level 80. He is already a powerful transcendent who can threaten Saint Rand. And now, deep in the Black River Valley, a new high-level transcendent is being nurtured. This is also the reason why all kinds of weird and strange situations have appeared in the Black River Valley, and the weird power of the transcendent who is about to become a high-level puppeteer has escaped. This is also the situation that Saint Rand does not want to see. Every time Tucker carefully follows the veins and feels the situation inside the Black River Valley, Tucker can feel that the roar from Saint Rand is always impacting the high tower of the Black River Valley in a strange dimension, suppressing and even destroying the promotion ceremony of the bishop who was promoted in the depths of the Black River Valley. The game of high-end means of both sides is completely at a level that ordinary transcendents cannot see. Even Tucker, who has SSS level extraordinary talents, is a little confused. It also needs to be carefully considered to understand the mysterious effect of these high-end means. During this period of time, just by watching the fight between the two sides, Tucker secretly felt the horror and power of the extraordinary world. That's it. It's just a struggle between high-level extraordinary forces. And the higher-level dimensions, the level reaches above level 100, that is the realm of Extraordinary Master. In the Principality of Syrian, only the Grand Duke of Syrian is at the Extraordinary Master realm. The veins of the Dark Sun beat at Tucker's fingertips. Tucker, who was thinking silently, stared slightly. Obviously, Saint Rand's suppression didn't work very well. That level 69 puppeteer is moving towards level 70 at a steady pace. Moreover, the speed at which the ritual is completed is getting faster and faster. I just don't know what the master behind the demon hunter is planning. I don't know if it can stop him from advancing. Once he completes the advancement, it will definitely not be good news for Saint Rand. The current time node is very critical and sensitive. Both sides are keeping an eye on the Black River Valley Tower city-state itself and the advancement of the level 69 puppeteer. The defense of the Alien Gate will definitely not be too strong. Even if there is a battle at the Alien Gate, even if there is a shock, no one will easily take action. So now is definitely a good opportunity to make money. It's really depressing that the Alien Gate has not been found for a long time. Tucker rubbed his eyebrows. Just when he wanted to take another sip of fruit wine, He found that the fruit wine had been finished by himself. This was already the 6th glass. Tucker's current physique would not make him drunk with such a small amount of wine. I've been out for a long time. I should go back and bring some food and drinks to Baggins. Also, I should study those books Baggins gave me about forging extraordinary equipment carefully. Tucker just stood up after thinking about it. At this moment, a clear thought along the veins of the contract came over. It was the thought information of the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf. Master, I found the gate to the foreign land. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.